good to call.
Yeah. Good evening, can you guys hear me? Yes. Oh.
Should be, right? Hi, can you be heard? Hello?
Good evening, can you guys hear me? I think
Yes.
we-
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
I can hear you.
Yes.
Do we have time?
I'm sorry.
Do we have?
So you go through the ground base first, and then I'll do roll call after, and we'll determine that, okay?
Beautiful. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the September 5th meeting of Community Board Environment, Open Space Parks Committee. My name is Rose Diaz. I am the chair of this committee. This meeting is called to order at 6:37 p.m. tonight. We are joined by Khalid Nixon, the staff liaison to our committee. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe ground rules. No one may speak until granted the floor. CB11 members, please, if you have a question about board business business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand or wait to be recognized. To raise your hand with Zoom, click the participants icon and you will find the raise hand button function there. Members should not engage in a back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next person to speak. Please keep your questions and comments brief and on topic to the discussion. Members of the public, if you have a question or comment about the subject of the agenda, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. And now we are going to do roll call.
It's cool in here. Don't be getting us cold, you know, having us chilly, I'm telling you. Got the whole AC on, you know.
It's not for that purpose.
Okay, members, so just be aware that there are 9 committee members for this committee, 5 are needed for quorum. Jocelyn Cruz. Rosa Diaz.
Present.
Stanley Johnson. Connie D is absent, excused, sorry. Malik McCollum. Thank you. Samantha Perdero. Perdero, excuse me. She might have been online, okay, no. Teddy Quinones. Russell Schuler. Michelle Musar Clement.
Present.
Thank you. You have one.
Thank you, Now we're going to start with the adoption of the agenda. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office. It was posted online. If there is no objection, we will adopt the agenda as stated. Committee members, if you object to adopting the agenda, you may raise your hand. No hands are raised. So the agenda is adopted.
Yes.
Okay, great. Adoption of the meeting minutes. The minutes from our last meeting were distributed to the committee members ahead of time by the board office. If there's no objection, we will adopt the minutes from the meeting. Committee members, if you object to adopting the minutes, you may raise your hand to be recognized. If there's no objection, we will adopt the minutes. Seeing no objection, we will adopt the minutes. Okay, now we're going to announce it. Okay, announcements. On September 24th of 2024,
It's during our full board meeting.
right, I thought you were raising your hand, you have.
No, go ahead.
Okay. On
Sorry.
September 24th, 2024, Community Board 11 will hold a public meeting on the statement of district needs and budgets request. Fiscal year of 2026 resources are in prior statements that the community has distributed. Land use applications 240385 and 240386. and 240387 and 24038A related to the Beacon Mixed Use Development Project. And we also have floodnet sensors deployed at 108th Street and Park Avenue and 108th Street and First Avenue. Additional sensors are to be sited. If you have any feedback or suggestion location, please feel free to email at info@floodnet.nyc. I do believe that I see our chair's hand raised.
Did you want to recognize him?
Xavier, you've been recognized.
You should have kept them waiting.
Oh, you got jokes now, do you, Malik? Yeah. Okay, I see how it is. Wanted to tell everyone welcome back and thank you for all of your service. I'm sorry I can't be there at the moment taking care of the kiddos. I want to say thank you to Jessica Elliott, our former chair of this committee. She's moved on to Statement of District Needs and Budget Committee. Want to thank her for her service, and Malik there, McCullough. I was glad to have Rosa Diaz be able to take on the role of chair, and Malik will stay as vice chair. We got a lot of work coming up this session. I'm really super appreciative of everyone's efforts, and I look forward to a successful term. So let's just stay focused and adaptive. On a more happy note, don't forget we have the barbecue this Saturday at 11 from 11 to 2. So please come on out. Rosa will be sending out a Google form to see what people can volunteer to bring. It's a potluck, bringing back what we used to do years ago pre-COVID. So with that, have a great meeting, and thank you everyone for your service.
Awesome, thank you, Xavier. Let's see. One more announcement, so I have my other announcements here. Jocelyn's Garden Adventure is having an event on September 15th. If you can join, that'd be awesome. This will be at the Harlem Rose Garden, starting at 11 a.m. Also, just like Xavier just announced, we're having welcome back barbecue September 7th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. to welcome back the new members and old members, of course. Just in case if you haven't received the email, location is Colon Plaza at 55 East 115th Street. Another announcement. Community cooling workshop by We Act sent an information for us to join September 9th, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. The information was already sent out by the board office and will be sent out again. The New York City Parks is doing an event on Saturday, September 14th, from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. free giveaways. The information will be sent out by the board office. It was just received like an hour or two ago. This will be at the Dr. Ronald McNair Playground, September 14th from 12 to 3 p.m. And lastly, we have, oh no, Jocelyn, I already announced it. Thank you so much. Any other updates before we head to the next?
So you want me to do that?
Of course.
Because I was in my report. Anyway, so the Friends of Harlem Art Park are in a collaboration with Madison Square Park Conservancy. And Madison Square Park Conservancy is like a very organized and wonderful park that does a lot of public art down the street. So what they would like to do is this artist, her name is Maria Magdalena Campos. She is the 2023 MacArthur Genius Award winner, and she has significant work in like all over the country and in Venice and everything. So what she wants to do is to invite people to join in a procession of angels. It's not religious. The idea is to march for radical love and unity, and ultimately hitting various spaces throughout the city that have suffered trauma or have been neglected to a certain degree. So it's two parts. The first part is September 7th. So September 7th at Art Park on Saturday at 9 o'clock, we're gonna have drumming. She's gonna come and bless the park, and she's gonna do an art installation at the park. Then we're gonna walk to 105th Street to the Dos Alas mural, and we're gonna have poetry there as well. And then go to the Museo de Barrio for a creative arts workshop. The product of the creative arts workshop will then be shared on the 20th when they march from 57th Street down to 25th Street. She originally wanted to do a one-day march from 120th Street to 25th Street, and we gently.
Persuaded.
We didn't say no, but the city was like, no, it was unrealistic, so they divided it into two parts. The second part is interesting because they're going to hit, 55th Street and Fifth Avenue was the site of the first ever silent procession organized in 1917 by the NAACP. So they want to stop there and do something. Then they're going to march to 43rd Street, and that is the site of the Black orphanage that was burnt out in 1900s, and 300 children were killed. So it's about healing, it's about moving past things, and then end at 25th Street, where they're gonna have a concert, and they're gonna celebrate all of the areas that have been healed, so to speak, and we lead with love. So if you have nothing to do before the barbecue, you can pass by Harlem Art Park and join us. It starts at 9 o'clock, and we're asking people to wear white, yellow, or like a turquoise blue. Because there's also an overlay of other things within the universe that people practice, right? So those days are significant to people and to the artists. And so she wants to really like celebrate the concept of radical love.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Oh, Harlem Art Park is located on 120th Street between Lexington and 3rd Avenue.
We'll send the flyer again.
Yeah, great.
Okay, so thank you, Debbie. Now we have the city agencies. Anyone from the Department of Parks and Recreation? Robert.
Robert McLean, I did see, okay. Come on to the palace.
You can't help yourself, right? I said she can't help herself.
Are we welcoming parks updates now?
Yes, we are.
Okay, give me 1 second. There we go. Hello, folks. How have you all been? Hello. Let me just introduce myself because I know there might be some new people. My name is Tapashi Narayan. I am the Historic Harlem Parks Administrator, overseeing St. Nicholas, Morningside, Marcus Garvey, and Jackie Robinson Park. For Community Board 11, my focus is on Marcus Garvey. And I have some wonderful news for you all. As you know, we've been having construction in Marcus Garvey related to the pavement and ADA access. So this project is in 3 phases. And it's mostly on the west side between 5th Avenue and 5th Avenue of 120th Street and 124th. So basically the western side of the park. The first phase, we did the northwest corner. So from 124th Street to where the amphitheater is, that was closed in the spring and has been reopened. And we have moved to south of the amphitheater, which is the amphitheater, to 120th Street. We've closed sections of that. You have access to now 2 ADA access points from 124th and from the rec center on the north end. So it's a very beautiful entrance. We have a little greeting garden as you first enter near the rec center. So if you haven't been in a while, take a walk, and it's gorgeous. It has a lot of benches. They're installing new benches as well along where the playgrounds are. So that's already been done. So please come out to the park and use the benches, or other people will. And it might be people we don't want to use the benches. So please come out, read a book in the park. We'd love to have you. And just so you know, the south side will continue to be under renovations. We on 120th Street, they're building an ADA access point, and then the south side of the rec center will also be ADA access. It's partially closed right now, so it's more like the north side of the ball fields. The other side will go under construction hopefully before November, and that section should be complete at that point. But November also marks a time when we cannot do more construction. So the next phase will likely be next spring, and that will be the southeast side. So this is like from Fifth Avenue and 120th Street to where the barbecue pits area is, and Madison Avenue. So it's wonderful news to have new pathways in the park. It's going to help us with a lot of the flooding that's there, especially along there, the part that used to be a bird bath and just didn't drain very well. The new paths are designed to grade towards or drain, so less flooding in the parks that you've seen in the past. So that's the pathway and ADA access. We'll have 4 ADA access by the end of it. I also want to remind you all that we have artwork by Jerome Hayford in the park. Of course, we have Sankofa on the lower level, and then at the top of the Acropolis we have Aaliyah. It looks like Sankofa is a full circle, Aaliyah is a semicircle. But it's a very beautiful stage as well. It doubles as a stage. And Jerome Hayford himself actually just had his wedding up there the weekend of August 30th. And it was a very beautiful ceremony. On the topic of the Acropolis, and for those who don't know where the Acropolis is, because I did realize some people don't know where it is. It's when you go up the stairs, it's the top of Marcus Garvey. If you haven't been, it's called an Acropolis because of that's what it's referred to in the Greek way. It's like a cut off for a mountain. It's very beautiful views. We have opened permitting to the Acropolis, and we're allowing sound events there on the weekends. So as you know, we have sound events at the amphitheater. We have 2 sound weekends in a month and then 2 quiet weekends to accommodate the community. On those quiet weekends at the amphitheater, the Acropolis is now sound event weekends. So if you know anyone who wants to have an event and is looking for a space, they can now reserve the Acropolis for their event. And let's see. So in terms of events, tonight we actually have at the amphitheater, our parks Movies Under the Stars is presenting Luther, Never Too Much. And we're all missing it because it's 7:45 to like 9:45. They had a pre-show where there's a band. So we're all missing it, unfortunately, but they're out there. And last but not least, we have the rec center has a bunch of programming, too many for me to tell you. So I will drop their website link in the chat for you all.
Yes, that's awesome. Send us all the information so we can distribute it to everyone.
No problem.
Thank you so much, Natasha. Any questions from the community members?
I do have one question.
Wait 1 second, sorry.
So honestly, this one.
Oh, thank you. New chair. I wanted to find out, would the procedure for reserving the Acropolis be the same, or is there going to be a different procedure for this? Being that it's such a new event space.
It should be the same. So you put a request in the special event system. But if it's not listed there, please feel free to message me and we can work on that. But it should
Awesome.
be similar as putting in any special events. Will you put in the permit, and this allows parks the opportunity to see if we have any other events and help you out in choosing a different date if we do, and helps us to advise you what the park rules are. So we don't want you to invest in a DJ and the DJ is not allowed in that space. So similar process, but if you come in to any hiccups with it, please feel free to reach out to me. I can put my email in the chat right now, so you have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's what I was wondering in terms of how is it gonna be made available to the community? And if it's the same permitting process. The one thing, well, this is, it's not this. I need to find out how the Parks Department, permitting process. Like, the thing is that sometimes you put a date in, and then they'll let you know 2 weeks before that there's a conflict. But it lets you do the whole permitting thing, and you pay, and then it's like, oh, by the way, it's double booked. So I wish there was a way that your system doesn't fall into that same trap, and that you make sure that if the date is reserved, that there's a notification, so that maybe you could pick an alternative date and not get stuck.
That's a good question. I'm gonna connect to Pashi with you directly also, so you can, thank you.
No,
Thank you so much.
don't get refunded, and they don't give you late dates. So it's like, I don't know. It's a thing.
So what can
That's a city thing though, that's not there.
Yeah, we'll connect you to Pashi or any of
Yeah.
them later.
That's what I was saying, but the thing is that they're gonna have this process of renting the space, so, it should be.
Accountable, right?
Right, of course, yes.
I
What you're saying, it sounds like an actual, like, even if it's the Acropolis or something else, it's an issue that's happening because you said for other places, could be like Thomas Jefferson, so we can bring that up to Pashi and
Yeah.
make sure that
Yeah.
that's in the guidance.
Where can
So I
see
will
that?
say that we have a very small team that works at special events, so they do try to get to the permit, and it should be a month before, but again, with limited capacity and in the number of people we have to address all the special events that happen in Manhattan. But yes, the $25 is a non-refundable fee. And I think each year the special events they do try to make modifications to the system, and that's a good suggestion in terms of like, but usually it's like they want a human being to review the permit to see what's in the system, and can let you know if it needs to be moved or so we wouldn't want to necessarily make it automatic, like, oh, there's a permit in for that day already, like rejectors. It
Well,
might be too.
Wait, I'm sorry, but I just want to be clear, I love Pamela. Pamela Strickland has been an amazing guardian angel to our park, and I love her to death, and I think that, from my working with her, she's always been reasonable, she's always been supportive, we've come across that little thing. So that little thing can kind of make it a little bit easier if
Yeah, communication is key, and we'll work together for a better response. Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely let them know. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Just a quick follow-up, is it better to come into to your office to fill out the form for the special event, or is it just easier for y'all to have it done online?
Online.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome, moving on. Anyone else? Any other community members? No, okay. Thank you, Tapashi. We'll connect again, and we'll connect you with Debbie and Michelle just in case we can help you.
No problem. Thank you.
Now, do we have anyone from the Department of Sanitation?
No one for this month, but Marissa Yanni should be coming in next month to go over some updates, particularly the containerization rules and penalties. But we'll also have, more, we'll speak with her to let her know that we would like, other updates regarding section. There's a Robert McLean that has his hand up.
Yeah, yes.
You wanna acknowledge it?
Is Robert, did you recognize?
Robert
Robert,
might
can you hear
be
us?
out on leave. Is he in?
Robert is here with his hand raised.
Oh, okay.
Robert?
Good
Oh,
evening, everyone.
okay,
Hi,
now-
this is.
Hi, you can hear me
no,
now?
I could, oh, you in, Robert? Okay, this is
Yeah,
Dave.
yeah. Okay, I got some good news as regarding the Esplanade that you probably want to listen to, and then Dave can take over.
Robert, I'm sorry, are you speaking on behalf of which group?
New York City Parks.
Oh, so we just did, okay, well, go ahead, then continue, please, go ahead, Robert, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, that was with Tapashi, but go ahead, Robert, I'm sorry. Please
No,
go
you
ahead.
got a trio of us today. It's Pasha and Robert and David.
Okay, excellent, sorry, Robert, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Okay, let me tell you some good news. Okay, we're making some progress in being able to reconstruct the closed section of the Esplanade between 114th Street and 117th Streets. Now, while the bids for this project came in somewhat over the budget, we did find additional funding needed so that the work would not be delayed. 1 second. Okay, so we found additional funding, so the work is not going to be delayed anymore. So we are now going through the process of getting the funds transferred and approved, and this should take about a month and a half or 2 months to complete, and then we'll be able to award the contract, which has to be registered and with the controller, and then the controller office, and then after all the paperwork is done, best case scenario construction would start this coming January. So I just met with Steve Simon before I left the office, so that this looks promising anyway.
Okay, thank you, Robert. Anything further?
No, that's it. Tapashi covered the majority of it. But don't forget David now.
And
Yes,
David?
Yes, good evening, David Williams. I am for those who don't know, I'm the district manager for Community Board District 11, which covers from Marx Brothers, 96th Street, all the way up to Abe Lincoln Playground, 135th Street. So I'm basically in charge of the majority of Harlem parks and playgrounds. I have a couple of updates in regards to some of our summer events. One thing I wanted to bring up to everyone, as I mentioned last year, the Parks Department and the New York Mayor's Office has initiated a Let's Green NYC app link for those of you who are interested in participating more in what goes on in your neighborhoods. We have a volunteer, it's a volunteering resource outlet for those of you who want to, of course, like I say, improve your community. You can always sign up if you want to have volunteer events. Look for information how to become a volunteer with us. You all may also know Carlos Acosta. He's not on this call. He's our community relations outreach coordinator. Maybe I'll get him to join on to one of the calls in the future. Because if there's one agency or any agency in New York that needs the help of the community, it is the Parks Department. So I would definitely look forward to having anyone on this call, anyone you know that would love to help us out and improving our parks. Updates. We have the New York City Parks Department has come up with funding $4.6 million in the development of the new ball field, the comfort station at the Harlem River ball field by the field 128th and 3rd Avenue. The construction for the ball field has started August 12th and will probably expect a completion date of, I'm not really comfortable giving dates because sometimes there's always setbacks, but I'm looking at early spring for the completion. Of course, there's always something with electrical, gas, water, but so far the expected date for that is early spring. If you go to Fred Johnson's tennis courts on 150th and Amclan Power Boulevard, the structure is similar to that setup, that new playground we opened up early this spring. So if you want an idea what's coming to your neighborhood, just go over there and you could take a look at Fred Johnson's comfort station. It was also on the news for, I think, a press conference and promoting the comfort station uses in our parks or playgrounds. Ronald McNair Playground. I know many of you are familiar with the conditions and the problems and issues that park presents in the past. We have made a conscious effort. Our new commissioner and administrators are have been on board with community outreach and troubleshooting on ways to improve the park. We actually have, we're going to pass out some flyers tomorrow in regards to an event that we have on September 14th to show all the new improvements that were done as far as cutting. We got updated repaired play equipment, and there's a new turf field in the middle of the park. So we painted benches, a lot of horticultural improvements have been done as well, trying to get the public to come back to the park, enjoy the park, and chase out those bad apples. So that's one thing we need. We need you guys to come enjoy the park. The more people come to the park, makes it more viewable. Bring the kids out to the park. Bring your camps programs out to the parks. Come read in the parks. That's the first step in getting your neighborhoods back. Last but not least, Blake Hobbs sidewalk is scheduled to be going under construction and improvement in players. I don't know if anyone from DOT is on this call, but since it is affecting our playground on Blake Hobbs, construction of that is slated to start September 30th. I don't know a completion date on that, but I just thought I'd share that with you or with all you guys. Any questions for me? Feel free to comment. I'll be on the call for the duration. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Committee member questions? Yes, please.
I wanted to go back to what Robert was saying, about the 114 to 117 happening in the latest 2 months in January. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That is a beautiful piece of information. David, I wanted to ask about the some of the playgrounds. They had started off with such a bang and like the painting of the horses in one playground, and so much work had been done, and all of a sudden everything just stopped. And I was wondering if there was going to be a forward movement in starting to paint the playgrounds again and just get them.
I had we submit work orders for our paint crew to do whatever projects need to be done, but most of those are my volunteer groups that come out to help me with that. I haven't gotten as many volunteers as I would like, especially like last year when we did those paint projects. We still got a good month left of volunteers coming up. If a group with interest come to me and request, I definitely have a list of projects for them. So I will keep that in mind, though. Thank you for that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention as well.
I do have a follow-up, if that's okay. Thank you. First of all, I really don't think there are any bad people or bad apples. However, when things are left behind, such as needles, has there been a pickup of needles in Marcus Garvey? And has there been and also, these are two separate questions. I've noticed there's a lot of flags beside trees, and some of the trees have X's on them, and some of the empty space saying, this is going to be a place for a new tree, please help me. Is that part of your organization? So two separate questions.
The needles, we have certified, certified bloodborne pathogen removers to remove the needles. They usually tour the park early mornings on point, the group, on 126th Street. They also have a team that comes out for needle removals. And we jotted down on a app. So for tracking purposes, so that app is updated daily. Unfortunately, and I witnessed this as recent as yesterday. I watched my crew come remove the needles, and a half hour later, the needles were back on the property. My staff, we're not assigned to the parks. We have other sites to focus on, but there is a problem with needle removal, but we are working hard to remove them as fast as possible.
Thank you. And the
And as
second,
far as the second question was about trees, I believe you mentioned. I didn't really hear that one clearly.
the tree, I've noticed a lot of little flags in tree beds or X's on trees, with the flag. Is
Oh, that X is that's forestry. Central Forestry does that. The X may mean X. Does it sound good? That may be something in regards to that tree. May be. I don't know if McLean can speak on that, but that may be the tree is unhealthy or not safe and may be scheduled. If it was a blue flag, then I think that means they're going to remove that tree. Don't quote me on that. But usually, if it's an X or a certain color of flag, that means that tree is scheduled to be either removed, replaced, or both.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Robert.
People say they-
Like, internet went out again.
Again? Okay,
But let's just keep on
do you want to
moving.
recognize your guest here or no?
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry,
You are allowed to ask questions.
Okay.
If the chair recognizes.
Yeah, yeah, go
I
ahead.
can ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So one,
First, your name.
oh,
Right.
sure. Tell me, this is my first meeting, sorry. My name is Joe Mary Moore. I live around the corner. I use Marcus Garvey frequently. I have a dog. And I really appreciate the update from the gentleman that just spoke. And it sounds like there's a lot of hard work around cleaning the park. And then I also appreciate your questions specifically around the needles. So I had a follow-up question from some of the stuff he shared, a follow-up question from some of your questions, and then my original question. So one, I heard that there's an app that could be like shared. I heard that he has a tool that he would like us to use. I also heard his comment around making sure people are coming to the park to help us maintain the spaces, which I really appreciated as well. And I think one of the items that you brought up has actually been a struggle for a lot of people who are using the park. I spend a lot of time there at the dog park or walking around, meeting people, and the needles in the glass have been a significant challenge. And I was curious, what are other things that we could potentially be doing to help with that? Or if there are other ideas, like I stopped in at Marcus Garvey. There's some parks downtown that have biohazard containers for people who are using to dispose of them. Just kind of curious, are there other action items or ways that the community could help with the situation? I do think people want to use the park more, and the glass and the needles are becoming are a challenge, and I also not totally sure whose responsibility it is to clean it up either, right? Because it's biohazard.
David, did you get any of that by any chance?
Yeah, yes, I got the gist of it. Yes. Yeah. So again, like I said, the MNO operation, that's my division. We're responsible for the cleaning and the maintenance of the park, and our seasonal staffing has not been as great as we prefer, but yes, my staff is on a schedule. They follow the schedule. Usually we get things happen, things come up when we do make adjustments. We even have a late shift crew that we also send around to the most problematic areas, which with drug syringes. Of course, McNair, James Weldon, Marcus Garvey. I think there are a few others in the neighborhood. So we try to make a second tour to go check on those. And plus, we have non-Parks Department agencies that also patrol those same locations I mentioned on point. I forget the second group. So, and as far as like I mentioned, the event that's going to be held on the 14th, the flyers will be issued tomorrow, and there are going to be educational tables to show or to educate people in the community more. So when you see the flyer tomorrow posted, you read the flyer and it pretty much break down what's going to happen during that event. And it probably some of the questions you answer will be do we have people there to talk about?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I hope you heard me say it. It's a constant problem, so I know your team is, I'm sure, working hard, but I'm hopeful that maybe there are other things that we can do to help with the challenge as well. And it's also glass, which is different from needles. So,
Thank you. We do have the flyer for September 14th. It will be distributed, so it was just released today.
great.
So like you said, it's gonna be posted everywhere tomorrow, and we do have the flyer. If you wanna give, Khalid your information and email address, we'll make sure that you have that information.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Moving on.
The other city agency?
So no one here is from DSNY. Is there anybody here from Department of Environmental Protection? No.
Okay, that's okay. Jessica, do you wanna do the debrief? Because, you know, I'm looking at the time. and-
Thank you, I appreciate you. Just to, Khalid, I don't know if you mind opening the link that I sent you in the email last night. As y'all know, I'm now chair of the budget committee. So, I know y'all will be touching on your, budget requests and, procedures this evening. I would recommend that you go through the requests and responses from last year. A lot of them say, talk to your council member. I'll be talking to one of our council members tomorrow, and I'll bring up every single one that we've talked about that says, talk to your council member. And the reason why it says, talk to your council member is because Parks doesn't have an operating budget, and in order to fund the projects that we've requested, like the renovation of parks, they need additional funding, such as council member, funding allocations. So,
You know who to advocate for, right? Which committee? You know which committee?
this way.
Oh,
Okay, let's jump,
Which
That
links?
piece it all out.
Not that one, the email about, to you and Rosa last night. From the district needs email. It probably says that EOSP
Who was?
right there, above the unread one.
Oh, this one, okay, all right.
Oh, maybe not.
stop calling him out, the unread one.
This other one?
Can you just look up from district needs? So once you review the requests,
This is.
I sent it last night.
Yeah, that's the fourth.
This correct?
No.
No, this is not correct.
Jessica was a little too many, emails.
Or, that's not right. Oh, here we go, urgent.
No, that's a different one.
I'm sorry.
How to
Right there.
participate?
No, that's not it either.
No, that was, go up though, go,
I have travel room for a week lower.
It was called, I should have done it.
I will send it over.
Okay, well, the goal was to go through the parks tourist document, so if you can just navigate
Go to the
that.
box. Okay.
If you just search. parks
Community
tourist-
gardens, the community gardens.
Yeah, sorry, community gardens.
Community, so, okay, community funds.
There.
July 26th.
Well, that's-
There's one
it's a
that
big
says
document.
September.
So if you click on the Google Drive folder and this document, this document. Okay, so as y'all know, we went on all these garden tours over the summer, thanks to Malik for organizing. That's it. It was great. So as we did last year, we had all the requests for specific parks improvement projects. Based on the parks tours that we did. There's still a number of those. It may be worth, just seeing which ones are the most important right now. And then if we can, whittling them down to the most, highest priority. And then I would recommend, because every garden that we visited kind of had different experiences, they had different needs, but there were a few overarching needs. Some of them included, access to electricity, rat infestation, access to water was one of the biggest ones. And then, which,
Encroachment.
yeah, encroachment, from the HPD, lots of things are, so there's 2 lots from HPD, but I think if you, no, are you okay?
Yeah, the internet's having a hard time.
I'm sorry. the internet's-
Go ahead, just.
If you scroll down, this document was our comprehensive document where we took notes, and then the other link was the photos, so in case you need to, go to it, but the observations here, I've highlighted the ones that, just from the first 4 that were something that we heard all over and over again. So I would just recommend, y'all can do whatever you think is right for district needs and budget process, but like, maybe it's worth, in a single or, 1 or 2 requests globally for community gardens to ask for, investment into like the availability of water for those that don't have like easy access to water. Bug and rat control generally, electricity is probably a harder ask. But Green Thumb seemed to have a lot of the like little problems managed, and I'm sure we can follow up with them and see make sure that they're giving soil and whatever tools that they can, resolving the minor challenges, and Rosa and I and Malik can work through some of the more major challenges like the utility line across one of the gardens and then the HPD lot coordination there. But so today, hopefully y'all will review the requests from last year and the responses, and then see if any new requests are coming out of this document. And then next month, we'll ask that you prioritize those, lock them in, and then assist with the statement of district needs. So, and then the district needs and budget committee and the executive committee will finalize those documents, and we'll vote on them in October and full board. So this month is reviewing and adding, next month's confirming
And voting.
Cynthia's also on, if you want.
Yeah, Cynthia,
I was gonna say,
Yes.
Cynthia joined us.
yeah. Thank you, Cynthia, for all of your hard work and collaboration. We have not had a better partner in our whole lives on any initiative. Thank you so much for being there every weekend with us and just, assisting across all the needs of the gardens. And, we look forward to continuing to be in partnership with you.
And getting bit by mosquitoes.
And thank you for all the goodies you brought to the gardens too.
No, thank you all for reaching out about this. It was a great experience, and I'm happy for the collaboration too. So
Great, any questions on that?
I have a question. So, this committee in their advocacy has done tours to parks and then to gardens.
Yep.
And with each of those processes, particular issues were identified, right? So my question is, will this year's statement of needs include a comparison with the parks needs and the playground needs to try and find some general landing place?
If we so choose.
That's up to you guys as the committee.
That's what we.
That's
Tonight?
between tonight and next month.
So the parks tours, recommendations and the playground, I mean, the.
Well, we already have.
No, I know you had the parks tours, I know you had it, but from the parks tours, there were things that were identified.
Yeah.
And then those things are gonna be part of what we're reviewing as well, that's what I'm,
It's,
Well, it was already, so basically from last year,
yeah.
we did that and they are basically on the statement of district needs
Okay.
from last year, and it still
Okay,
could be on this year because it's still there.
right,
Our job is not, I mean, if we wanna take some off, we can, if we wanna leave them, we can. But our job is also for the community gardens,
no, absolutely,
to actually put those on the statement of district
no,
needs
I get it,
if we so choose to.
right, no, I get it, I was just, trying to understand.
Right, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Just really quick, I think we added like probably 15 requests
After
last
the,
year.
after that.
Specific, like, and I just
Right.
wrote them down to bring up to,
Right.
you know, Councilmember Ayala. The public restroom at Thomas Jefferson Park, the public restroom at Harlem Greenway Lane, the Acropolis lighting at Marcus Garvey, May Grant Playground, Blake Hobbs
Okay.
Playground, Chair. So those are all still on there. The only park that was funded was the Peter Minuet. Because it's really not realistic to, we have, they're probably only gonna do one at a time, so. It's based on our priorities, and ideally we get parks to agree on priority with us, so they can advocate with us on it. And then we would add, any additional ones as it relates to, the community gardens district. And then just to say that the sanitation garage, I hope will stay on, and I will talk to Ayala about that, tomorrow as well.
Yes.
I just wanted to hear from Cynthia. Cynthia, did you have any thoughts on the community gardens tour this summer, or anything to say?
I guess more generally, like I thought it was a great experience. I was very happy that we got to collaborate just because I think the gardens are going to need a lot of they need a lot of support because they're all volunteer run. So just them connecting with more people that can kind of connect them to different resources. I think that was great. At some point, I think someone, and it might have been Rosa, like mentioned having worked with like the little libraries and that sort of thing, right? And it seems like something small, but that's something that like otherwise, where do you find that for a gardener, right? So it was great for that collaboration, I think, for them as well. I think just also like this feeling that they're not like in this alone, like there are people out there like looking at and trying to support. And yeah, I think, I don't know how often these are going to happen, or it sounds like, it's based also like on this report and everything, but I think definitely, if in future years, this is something that wants to like can be replicated, I think that would still be a great idea. Yeah, and I think just a lot of like a few of the things that you all are mentioning in terms of needs and that sort of thing, you guys are highlighting some of the bigger needs that I think are harder to meet, like the internal water, definitely for some gardens. There's many gardens and it's a big project and it takes a lot of money to install water. So that's definitely one of them. Rat infestations, the tree issues. I think there are a couple of tree issues mentioned in a few, and a lot of departments, it's just a like overwhelming demand, I think. And so that's always something too that like gardeners have been able to receive help through different means to like allocate things in the budget, that sort of thing, for like a specific tree work. And I think just like trying to remember too through like the tour, like there are a few like gardeners that particularly around the park area, and I think you guys touched upon it in parks a little bit, but the drug use that sometimes happens on certain like court like areas that like impact the garden. So I think just that like increasing collaboration in that way, and maybe being able to connect the gardens either to other groups or other agencies that can also like help them. I think that was great. And yeah, there's some gardens that I don't know if you all know, but like they haven't been visited, like it's like they have like the people that come every day, that sort of thing, but they don't really get visited by people on the outside. And so I think it was really nice for them to also have that and like have someone be interested in their garden as well. So but also I'm here, so feel free to ask me any questions too.
Yes, thank you for doing this each month. Yes, Shannon.
I was just curious to find out, were you able to just go in and give some of the, things like a mesh thing to prevent garbage from coming in? I think that was like one of the things that we noticed, that a lot of them would just get taken over by this garbage that was just flying around. And something as simple as a mesh that was not very big would prevent garbage from entering into, one of the playgrounds. And something like that could be taken to other
Gardens.
gardens.
Mhm.
My mind is in school right now. Some could be taken to, that idea could be taken to other gardens to prevent garbage from entering into their gardens as well. And I just thought that that was a good thing to follow. Here's an idea that could be distributed.
Mass machine.
A mass message. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia, and we'll reconnect. Thank you so much for your support.
You finished, Miss?
Yes, thank you. And let me know, reach out if you have any questions or anything. I'm happy to help.
I believe someone has a question, friends of East River Estimate.
Jennifer Ratner, yes. Hi, Jennifer, you're recognized. Go ahead, please.
So it's not really a question. I think we skipped over the parks advocacy groups. Is that okay if I take 2
No,
minutes?
we're going back to it.
Oh, you're going back. Okay, no worries.
Only because Jessica has to leave and they wanted to
Got it.
specifically speak about
Got
that.
it, got it, got it.
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much, Cynthia. Thank you so much, Jessica, and we'll keep the agenda moving back to parks and advocacy groups.
Yeah, go ahead, Jennifer. Do you?
Great, thank you so much. So I'm Jennifer Ratner, Friends of the East River Esplanade. So we're the conservancy, as you know, for the waterfront, all the way from East Harlem down to the new East Midtown Greenway. So a couple of comments that I had. One referring to Robert McLean's 114th to 117th, keeping fingers crossed, and I'm very glad for that update, especially since we've been promised that particular little stretch would be fixed since 2016. So, and every year something happens when it doesn't get fixed. So that'd be very exciting. And then sort of just bundling that in with other talk of infrastructure. As you all know, the new East Harlem waterfront that we have been screaming for so many years is supposed to start construction, you know, within a year or so. So I think it's incumbent upon all of us to continue to advocate for things that, even though it's going to be really fantastic with a beautiful new pier for East Harlem, that we continue to advocate for things that we really need and should be sort of just common sense, like a comfort station. I know our screaming about potable water has paid off because there will be water on the Esplanade. And also to continue to keep up the sort of drumbeat for East River Crew so that people in East Harlem can have access, just like all over the rest of the island, and indeed all over the rest of the city, you can have free boating. And so we're just asking the community board to continue to advocate for those elements for this new Esplanade. The other thing, while we wait, there is a sinkhole which kind of straddles the East Harlem and Upper East Side piece of the Esplanade, and it's at about, you know, just south of 96th Street, and it's only getting bigger. And our group has been writing to the Parks Department about it, but I think it would be helpful if Community Board 11 could sort of, yeah, sorry, is somebody asking me a question?
No, go ahead, please.
Okay. If somebody, you know, if the community board can advocate for that, because our experience with sinkholes on the Esplanade has been that once they're there and we can see them getting bigger and people are reporting to us that they're getting bigger, the whole chunks of the waterfront have fallen in the past. So I think it's something that should be on your radar, along with other safety concerns like e-bikes. We get a ton of complaints about people like saying that they're almost run over by e-bikes every day, basically. And also lighting. I know that I have brought this up directly to Robert and to Tricia Shimamura over the past few months, but the lights on the East Harlem piece are out again, and they're out for about a mile. I counted again last night. So that's a real safety concern, especially given like the increased use of the Esplanade, because a lot of people who are living on Randall's Island are coming back and forth at all hours of the night and early in the morning. And there are like a handful of lights where there should be dozens and dozens of lights on. So if the community board has a way to also write a letter asking that these lights, this shouldn't be that hard in New York City, but for some reason it is that hard. So those are all pretty major safety concerns, I think. And as you are probably aware, at least 3 bodies were found off of the Esplanade over the summer within the course of a week. Unfortunately, very sadly, dead bodies. I tried to find out what who they were and what happened, but it was within, and there was a ton of police activity. It was in the news for about a day. So, since we don't know what that was, I think the safety concern should be paramount before things get worse. And then on a lighter note, I just want to tell you about our events. We have a whole full slate of events coming up in September and October. Most of them, for the meantime, we do down at 60th Street, but it's not so far away. A lot of people from East Harlem are coming. We have live music events on September 28th, October 19th, and October 27th. September 28th, we have a fabulous band. We give out free ice cream on the waterfront. We have lots of activities for kids. October 19th, we have a great salsa band coming, a salsa dance instructor, same thing, lots of activities for kids. Same thing on October 27th, we have an amazing band coming. We have Halloween activities for kids, face painting, free ice cream again. It's going to be really, really fun. We can't wait to bring those events to the new Esplanade when it's reconstructed. We also have free fishing clinics for kids and adults on September 25th on the East Harlem piece of the Esplanade. We have some bird walks coming up. So to find out about all those things, you can follow us on @EsplanadeFriend on Instagram. We also rehabbed the award-winning bait station at 100th Street, had been vandalized, and we fixed that over the summer. So I've seen some of the anglers back there using it again. And our beautiful art installation by East Harlem crochet artist Carmen is still up and it's looking beautiful, and we're continuing to expand that while we wait for the new Esplanade. And Carmen, at some of our events on 60th Street, she'll be teaching crochet to kids and adults and letting you participate. And we hope those will be incorporated in the next iterations of the crochet mural in East Harlem. So sorry for the long-winded thing, but I really do think the safety things are really, really important. So thank you for listening.
That's awesome. Also, if you have any events or flyers or anything, it would be great to, you can, email them to us so we can distribute to the community too.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes.
Is Robert still on?
Yes, he's still on.
So my question is basically to Rob. Like when safety concerns, as far as the Esplanade, comes up, and I know we supposed to get a new Esplanade, but what happens in that limbo of safety, in between safety and getting a new Esplanade? Do we, can we find ways to get new lightings and I guess to address the sinkhole? Or like, what would be the process of us, or how will we go about that to advocate for those things?
Statement of needs. Also, the sinkhole is below 96th Street, just FYI. 96.
Oh, it's below 96.
Yeah, 96 is where our jurisdiction ends, just
Okay.
FYI, and CB8 is right below us.
So that would be for CBA to do.
I mean,
But I think it's helpful since it's contiguous. We do bring it up there too, just so you know, but.
Okay.
All right, excellent. So yeah, the sinkhole, of course, spreads into our, that's not,
Very quick, okay.
right, exactly. So you can advocate for that in the statement of needs. You say that, look, we've had,
But I feel like those are more pertinent, and timing,
right.
as far as lighting, and so that's why I was
Let's see.
asking.
Okay. Robert, are you here to assist with that inquiry, or?
I think Michael Davis.
I can tell you because we've had this problem before and we got the lights, our
Wait,
group
one
got.
second.
Oh, yeah,
Hi.
sure, sorry.
And 1 second, I think Michael Davis has his hand Please, I'm
Let me
not
see.
sure.
Michael, you're not, you're allowed to speak. Do you have
Yeah,
any?
okay, can you repeat your question about the lights?
So, apparently, the lights are out for about a mile. I don't know specifically where on Esplanade. The young lady, I forgot your name, Jennifer can give us the actual, the pinpoint exactly where. But I was asking as far as the lights is concerned and the sinkhole is concerned, because it's a safety hazard. How can we get it fixed, or how can we advocate to get those things fixed? Being that we are getting I guess, doing construction on the Esplanade, we still need lights and stuff there now, because it's about months out and not, right now that we get that fixed.
I tell you what, I'll contact Dr. Ratner and find out at least approximately where these lights are out. She's talking about blocks and blocks, from a start and to an ending cross street. Yeah. So Monday, well, let me think. Probably Sunday night, I'm going to go out to the Esplanade from 60th to about 67th Street, and I'm going to put caution tape around the lights that are out on that portion of the Esplanade. And then I'm meeting DOT on Monday. So I will take them to the lights that are out there. And I'll do the same thing further up to 100th Street. I just need approximately where those lights are. The only person that can do that is myself. We don't have a night crew. So I'll finish this one. And then if Dr. Radner can give me the information, I'll proceed north.
Jennifer, do you know the actual?
Yeah, it's almost every light just north of the 107th Street Pier and all the way down to where Carmen's artwork is. So at about 100th Street, almost every light is out. There are just a handful that are on. And, I will tell you, we worked for years with DOT to get them turned back on after Sandy, and they were. And now they're back off again. So.
Well, it's taken me a month. It's taken me a month just to get DOT to do this very small project here, whether they're backed up or not. I did the first lights out. It was August 4th. Sent DOT the information on the 6th, and then I sent it again on the 26th. So I'm just going to tag those lights so there's no misunderstanding, and then I've agreed to meet them on Monday. So I go from 100 to 107th. I just got to wait till some nightfall that I can do it. And then we'll see what we can get done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, and Philippe will also connect you guys.
Yes, just please email our
our
office. Yes, thank you.
We have a lot of work, sorry about that. Okay, now,
We still have park advocacy groups, and we have Randall's Island Park Alliance is still here with us that would probably like to speak.
that's what we're doing right now, Parks Advocacy,
They're not.
which is Jennifer,
What other
Any-
park advocacy groups are there?
any
For
other parks?
Randall's Island Park Alliance, Donna or Chris, are you guys available by any chance to give us a
Yes.
quick, please?
Hi, everyone. This is Donna. It's good to see everybody and congratulations on the new appointments. I'm going to just highlight a couple of large events that we have coming up. So we have a live and local art pop-up, which is going to be on September 7th from 12 to 3 at our urban farm. It's an immersive art experience which local artists will create art live before our eyes. And some of the highlights include live art demonstrations with local artists, interactive art stations featuring art in the park, and live music. And the other big event that I'd like to highlight is our Harvest Festival, which is going to take place on September 29th from 12 to 3 on Field 62 and 63, as well as the Urban Farm. This is a free, family-friendly celebration. You can get your face painted, sample fresh farm food, take home a pumpkin from our pumpkin patch. Also, we're going to have some live music, arts and crafts, and educational activities for the kids, cooking demonstrations. We have a pumpkin patch, and decorations, and we have lots of treats and things like that. So, yeah, we're really excited about these events and hope that you'll be able to join us.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. I believe I saw, yes, Chris?
Yeah, so just tagging on with Donna, again, with the live and local arts, we're going to have a number of East Harlem partners. So we've got Gia Gutierrez, Sarah Noda, Art in the Park, Umile Films. We'll also have free snacks from Uptown Veg and Pop Day Bakery. So it's going to be this Saturday. I think that's great. I'm joining because I wanted to quickly update you all. I think last time I spoke was about a forestry grant in January, and the community board generously wrote a letter of support for that, and we took all of the feedback that we got from that meeting. I wanted to update you that we found out in August that we have received the grant. So this is a state grant that allows us to care for over 5,000 trees at Randall's Island Park over the next 3 years. We have an in-house arborist, which we're really lucky to have, someone who's incredibly knowledgeable about tree care, who's going to be guiding that through a number of volunteer events, as well as with our staff on the island themselves. And then for the larger, more mature trees, which require complex approaches and specialized equipment, the grant will also help us fund bringing on a contractor to support that work. And one thing that I'm really excited about is that we also built in for 75 citizen pruner trainings. So that's 75 people. We're specifically targeting as many people from the East Harlem community as possible to receive this training. So in the next couple months, we'll be working to reach out to get community gardeners, anyone who's advocated or interested in that. Not only do we hope that they'll help us with some of the tree care on Randall's Island, but once they've gotten the training, they're able to legally and knowledgeably take care of trees throughout all the parks and street trees as well. And so this is hopefully going to be a really important effort that we can do to support overall the forest health and trees throughout the park. And I did want to also mention one of the key things that came up in our discussions in January was the community board wanted to see us reuse the wood that we were either pruning or removing from trees. And in this time since we spoke with you all, we've created a partnership with Cornell's Cooperative Extension, which supports community gardens and urban agriculture. And we're working now with 6 community gardens. We've set up mushroom growing stations in all of them. And we're looking to see if the species of wood that we use allows us to grow more mushrooms in the community gardens. So after they give us the weight of the mushrooms that they've harvested, they'll be free for consumption and eating, and also part of our urban farms effort to distribute food, which I believe we've exceeded over 3,000 pounds that we donate to the Little Sisters of the Assumption LSA food pantry every week. Thank you.
That's awesome. Donna?
Yes, hi, I just wanted to mention one more thing. This is actually going to be my last CB11 meeting. I'm moving on, and I'm staying with Parks, but I'll be working directly with Commissioner Folk. And that's, I'm in transition right now, but someone else will certainly take my place at this meeting.
But no one can take your place. But no one can take your place.
Jessica, maybe I'll still come to the museum next year.
Yes. Thank you. And send us the information of the new person. Thank you. And congratulations.
Yes, thank you. I certainly will. Okay.
Okay, thank you both. Thank you, Chris and Donna. I'm gonna have to move it along because we have other visitors.
Yeah,
We have
thank you.
We're gonna be here till 11 p.m. honestly.
I can go very quickly.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Friends of our park. So very, very quickly, the Friends of our Park infrastructure, we're facing some challenges, with, cobblestones, with, the fence in the back, it's getting worse. And it actually was listed as a capital expense project. I don't know how long ago but it's getting worse and it's getting more dangerous because there's parts that is kind of hanging. And we have to figure out a way to do something with that fence, the back fence. Normally, we've used it in the past to do part of our art installations to help. but it's just getting a little bit more difficult, within the park because we need painting. We need just we need a nice sprucing up. But the other thing is that, this summer, we also face a challenge of an increase with park regulars. And I think that a lot of folks have come from Marcus, what is it? Marcus there, have kind of found their way to, Boulevard Park. And as a result of that, we have much more garbage. And the pickup time is not as regular, so we're trying to figure out how to get that moving. Also having services available for folks to kind of come in and kind of address some of the quality of life issues. The other thing on a positive note is that the sculpture that's been there, the red sculpture, this year, 2025 will be the 40th anniversary of the installation of that artwork. And we're trying to organize this project called G40. We're going to be celebrating it. We want artists to kind of do a reinterpretation of it so that we can have 40 different versions of it. And have a day of celebration with both, because this both worlds is tragic. So, you know, we just kind of really have to hunker down on doing some more. It's like park days, cleaning up, stuff like that. Very quickly, October 19th, we're having It's My Park Day. And October 26th, we're having our adult masquerade party. In the afternoon. And then, moving forward to the first Saturday in December, we're having our tree lighting. Cause I already saw Christmas trees on sale on Lexington Avenue, so we're gonna go there. Just mark your calendar for the first Saturday in December for, our ugly tree, you know, our ugly sweater contest that we have at night, so. If you can join us on this Saturday with the Session of Angels, that'd be great. And we just need, some help kind of getting the park cleaned up. And that's not it.
Thank you, Debbie.
I also want, and also, I'm sorry, thank you, Dave, for all the work that you do. I appreciate you. I know I drive you crazy with all my texts, but I also want to say, that I really appreciate the work that you do.
Okay, now, thank you. We're going to move it along to other, community-based organizations. Nothing?
No.
Okay, great. There's
You guys broke a record tonight with information.
presentation and discussion.
It's the first meeting, it's always like that.
Any presentation?
Yeah, so we have Mikhail Priev, or I know that he might have his colleagues, Marcin Galas, available to go over the proposed reconstruction of the Pelham Fritz Recreation Center. Hello, Mikhail or Marcin, are you available?
Hello. Can everybody hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes.
We can hear you, Marcin. Go ahead.
Oh, great. I'm sorry. My name is Marcin Galas. I'm an architectural designer at Citywide Services. Unfortunately, Mikhail could not be here today. And if I can share the presentation, I'll do my best to present it to you.
Okay, are you joining us from phone?
Yes, yes.
Okay, are you going to send an email or are you going to send the
I do have it open this meeting on my computer, and I have the audio from the phone.
Okay, which screen needs to be shared, or at least which screen? I'm sorry, not screen. Which account of yours needs to be?
He has to share with him directly so that he can.
Okay. Can everybody see my screen now?
Hold on 1 second. Okay, go ahead, Marcin. Go ahead.
Great, thank you very much. So this project is for Marcus Garvey Park, Pelham Fritz Recreation Center roof reconstruction. The building is located at 18 Mount Morris Park West. The original designer is Mikhail Priev. The total budget is $4,671,000 and approximate size is 12,000 square feet. The project scope is to remove and replace existing SBS roof, which is a flat roof, remove and replace existing metal roof throughout, remove existing clear-story windows at roof level, reconstruct and the sill, and install new windows with security screens, remove and replace security gates between the clear-story metal roof gables, remove existing paint from the brick facade, restore facade with bricks to match existing and repoint, remove existing rusted and deteriorated metal doors on north and south side of the building. So the building is located in Manhattan in Marcus Garvey Park. This is existing site plan showing the building in the middle. The band shell is not included in the project, just the main building. These are existing elevations showing that the existing brick facade is painted with a beige color, and it shows metal roofing that is white, blue, I'm sorry. Another set of existing condition photos showing that the paint is peeling off the building. The existing roof has a bunch of issues with the water that is ponding on top of it. The metal roof is over 20 years old and it's falling apart. It's not doing its job right now. The existing windows are situated very low. These are the existing conditions that the parapet wall. Existing facade has a bunch of cracks, peeling paint. It's not watertight at this moment. The removals will consist of removing all the flat roof, the metal copings, roof drains, and some of the security gates. The proposed plan will include a new flat roof with up-to-code insulation and properly sloped, with new locations for some of the roof drains and brand new metal roof as well, and windows that are in these locations. This slide shows some of the details, including raised parapet wall over here and here for windows, and that's because the insulation will be much thicker to meet the existing code. This is the rendering of the proposed metal roof and metal copings. These are elevations showing the paint already removed, showing the original brick color and proposed patina green metal roof. And this is a beautiful rendering that Michael did, showing more accurate how we would like to have it complete the project. And these are the materials: the metal roof, new custom air exhaust caps, replacement bricks, security guards, and the windows. And that's the whole presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And you guys are also requesting a letter of support for a PDC review that's happening this month, correct?
That's correct. That will be the next step.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we
Any questions from the committee members or?
anyone has any question? Okay, we just vote on the letter of support and.
Or if you would like to accept the motion to provide a letter of support.
Oh, anyone wants to make a
I
motion?
make the motion that we.
Is this the urgent thing or we should put on it for the following?
They have a PDC review that's happening in September 15th or 16th.
I believe so. I believe it's the 16th.
Right, so they've already been informed that we can't provide them a formal letter until after the full board later this month. But if the committee decides to provide, recommend support, they'll at least have that in by what we're saying, and then they can receive a letter at the end of the month if the committee decides to do that.
Right.
This is the discussion.
I was just curious why nothing like a solar paneling was added to help to make it more green. Not necessarily, greener than the roof is.
I don't think he heard you.
I'm sorry.
question? I was
I
wondering if,
could not hear the question.
I was wondering
I
if,
could not hear the question.
I was wondering if your staff or you had proposed the idea of adding solar panels to the roof at any point.
I believe that the issue with the solar panels is that, and I'm gonna show that this is the south side of the building, and there are a lot of tall trees on the south side. Therefore, the solar panels would not work on this side, and there's not enough sunlight on the north side, and that's the south. That's the back of the building. That's where the band show is.
Okay, thank you, so you did think about it, thank you. That was the question.
We do have Michael Davis has his hand raised, if you want to recognize him.
Yes, Michael Baker is being recognized?
Hello there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is my first time raising my hand, so thank you very much for taking the time. I'm a member of the Rodale Community Garden on 100 East 114.
Michael, this is regarding the presentation. Do you have any questions or comments relating specifically to this project?
No, I don't. Sorry.
Okay, so we'll just hold off for your introductions, okay, Michael? I'm sorry. We do have to get
That's
through
okay.
this. We'll circle back to you for sure, okay?
Yes, thank you. Second motion?
Yeah, I was gonna make the motion to provide the support, but also it's important to understand, like, why.
You have to make a motion. You have
I
to.
make the motion.
Make the-
Wait,
so-
say
yeah,
what you're gonna
say what
say
you want to
first,
say first,
before
and then
you
make the
I
motion.
was going to say that it concerns me that things come at the end, like so close to when they need it.
I see. And just to answer that, they did reach out to us,
Okay.
but in June, and we already had our meeting.
Okay,
Right, yeah,
so
so.
that would have been helpful if you would have prefaced it that
Sorry,
way, because then it would have been, I wouldn't have had the concern, right?
Mhm, yes.
So with that said, I would like to make a motion to provide the support.
Thank you. Then second? Michelle seconds, we can do roll call.
We can do roll call. Okay, so we have 5 members present. We need 3 to let this motion pass. Rosa Diaz,
Yes.
Malik McCullum,
Yes.
Debbie Quinones,
Yes.
Russell Schuler. Yes. Michelle Wilshire Clement.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes.
Unanimous.
So, in the future, right, if that happens and they need it in some, like within our,
Right,
what could we do so that they, because I know if we was swamped,
right.
what could we do so that we won't,
We just.
our process,
Yeah, no, we
you
just
get
have-
what I'm saying?
We just have to talk to them a little bit better. Steve did reach out to us like at the end of June.
Uh-huh.
We assumed that we would have a meeting in July and.
Obviously, we
Right,
did, yeah.
right, exactly. And so in following up with him for setting up the agenda for this month, we did inquire, do you guys need a letter of support for this or a letter of acknowledgement? And, we were only just recently advised that they need a letter of support for the PDC review that's happening this month.
No, I got you. I'm just saying, let's think about it in the future, how could we,
Be
for the
better-
June to September, because
Sure, yes, we can do that. Yes.
so that we could just make sure that we all
On the same page.
on the same page, and we don't have to wonder like, why is it coming now? Because we already know that we need a month to talk about it, and we'll do it next month. This is unique because we had our break.
So making a big exception, just so
Yeah.
something great can happen. Okay, thank you, everyone. Let's move on with the next presentation.
And just to specify, Marcin, so the committee has voted to support this project, but a letter from the full board itself or on letterhead won't be ratified until after the 24th, and we wouldn't be able to provide that documentation till like, the next business day, Wednesday. So just wanted to
Okay.
let you know that, okay? So I'll send an email to yourself and Mikhail and Steve, just reiterating that, all right?
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Marcin. Okay, take care.
Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, so now we have another presentation and another request for support for the Village College Marionette Theater in Central Park. Is anyone there from there?
Yes, Amy,
Yes.
are you?
Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Wooden. I'm a landmarks preservationist with New York City Parks, and I work with the Historic House Trust. I am going to share with you a presentation of work we're doing at Swedish Cottage. So as
one of the CBs bordering Central Park. This is coming to you before we go to LPC for a public hearing in October and to PDC for a partial scope of the work being proposed in November. So we're looking for a letter of support from you to carry us through those two public reviews. I'll go through this very quickly. This is a presentation of a partial scope of work. We are doing a full exterior restoration and roof replacement at the Swedish Cottage in Central Park. Let me just navigate here. So you can see the location is actually right across Central Park West, about in line with the Natural History Museum. So we're on sort of the Midwest quadrant of the park. This is the existing building on the left and a historic photo on the right. So one of the components of the work that needs a review by the commission at a public hearing is the replacement of the railings, going from a wood railing and to what we're proposing as a bronze metal railing. And we are proposing this in terms of simplicity and durability and longevity to kind of get ahead of routine maintenance, which is the responsibility here of the Parks Department. So just some existing conditions. You can see the existing wood railings have basically reached the end of their serviceable life. So we will be maintaining the existing wood posts, which came in the 80s restoration, and we'll be replacing the turned balusters and the wood rails with a simple profile bronze rail. So this is the ramp section elevation and plan view at the north, which functions as the main entrance. Oops, sorry, going backwards. Just a close-up detail, small OG profile on the railing, a matte bronze finish, which will patina over time. And then just going from facade to facade, because all three entrances are being replaced with the same treatment. This is the east facade, historic and existing photos. Close-up of existing conditions. Just drawing details for our proposed metal railings. And then the south facade, which functions as the staff entrance. Existing and historic photos seen here. Just close-up details of existing conditions, that same sort of heavy weathering, heavy deterioration, a lot of missing components. And then the proposed plan and elevation drawing showing, that same simple metal rail on the wood posts that will be restored under a sort of staff level restoration work. And then the second component of this project, and the reason we are going to PDC as well, is the installation of two flagpoles in the park directly in front of the north facade. So this Swedish cottage, which was actually built by Sweden and sent to the States as a exposition in the World's Fair before it came to Central Park in 1901. Has a strong connection to Sweden as an example of Swedish vernacular architecture. It was always meant to fly a Swedish flag. For several years, they flew the Swedish flag on the same pole as the American flag, and we were informed that that is in non-compliance with international regulations and is actually very offensive diplomatically. You can't fly two country flags on the same pole. We did a very deep dive into these rules and regulations. So our only really solution that meets all of these requirements for flying a foreign country flag is to install two new flagpoles. So one will have to fly the American flag on the left, and the one on the right will fly the Swedish flag. They are oriented near the main entrance of the building, so they kind of signify the main entrance and the main view. So they're given sort of primary location. So this is just a very quick elevation showing where those flagpoles will go. There's an existing sign and an existing plaque on a boulder that will remain where they are. And the flagpoles will be installed basically following a park standard. 25-foot tall flagpole is a standard as well, and it sits just below the roof line. So the roof ridge is about 25 feet 5 inches, and the flagpoles will sit just below that. Just really quick plan existing and proposed showing where the flagpoles are sited, a section drawing showing that standard parks detail for the sort of foundation and structural work that needs to happen to support these flagpoles. A rendering just showing an assumed visual impact. And then this is just a brief and condensed sightline study. The map at the upper left-hand corner, the sort of light translucent blue, the lightest color blue is where places in the park where you can see the existing flagpole at the roof that is to remain, really just by itself, not in conjunction with the facade, because it's often blocked by trees or large groupings of plantings or whatever it is. The darker color blue is sort of the next largest shape and field of visibility, and that's places where you can see the existing flagpole on the roof with the cottage. The yellow is where the first sort of larger yellow shape is where you would see the new flagpoles, not in conjunction with any of the facades, so you would just see sort of additional flags in the park sticking up above the tree line. And then the darkest yellow is where you would see all three of these flags together. So we're trying to be very mindful of the impact of this visually and keeping it, like a relatively discrete installation. So there's really only visibility of the two new flagpoles with the existing one once you get past this kind of gable of the east end of the cottage. And it really stays within the footprint of that path around the main entrance. And these are just some existing conditions photos further for your reference. So here we are looking at the cottage over the Shakespeare Garden. Just another view of that northeast corner. The people in the photo are sort of walking towards the main entrance there. And this is the south entrance, kind of a view just off the west drive of the park. And then just some general base drawings to kind of show the scale, going back to that first scope of work with the railings, just showing the small scale of the stairs and entryways in relation to the existing facades. And that is the full presentation, so happy to take any questions or comments. And I'll just go back to a summary slide.
Committee members, no, great, motion to support.
No, is it, well, my question is, well, to us. She said she presented this in November?
She will.
Oh, sure, but she had she didn't present this last year, this is new to us.
She will present in November to
PDC.
Oh, to
Yes.
PDC.
Right, so
Got you.
with the previous presentation, we have less of a timeline, this one in
We have more.
October and,
Oh.
is that correct, Amy? Can you please?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
So you don't have to rush to provide a recommendation, but if you, as the committee, would like to do that, that's well within your right. And your authority.
Yeah, I have one question just about, you wanna, you put the, what kind of railing you said you wanted to put again? It's not wood,
It's bronze. Yeah,
Bronze?
metal. Yeah.
Now, with that, the railing, is it still gonna be on the wood?
Yes.
So would those conditions occur again, being that the railing is gonna be bronze and the I guess the platforms to hold it would be still wood? And the floor would be wood the same as well?
Yeah, the sort of stair treads and all the decking at the ramps are going to stay wood. We haven't really observed any major deterioration there. And the full building is going to be sort of restained and treated, so we're anticipating that the longevity of the wood will increase and it'll sort of replenish its water resistant abilities. The posts themselves, for being over 30 years old, have shown pretty little deterioration. We are going to replace these top caps. It's a pretty minor repair, but really the only level of wear that we've observed was these top rails kind of warping and bending, and the bottom rails. Sorry, I better hurry. Um, Parks is shutting down their computers. So to quickly answer your question, we don't anticipate this same level of deterioration happening with the metal railings, and we feel that the condition of the posts is there's enough integrity there that they will continue to last and serve as
Thank you.
components. Yeah.
The flag that is on top of the roof, what flag is that?
It's the American flag. It's flying the American flag.
And is there anything to be done with the roof besides? Was there any sort of change happening to the roof?
Well, the roof is being completely replaced in kind, so it's a wood shingle roof now. It will be a new wood shingle roof. And then that also comes with new gutters, new flashing. We're refurbishing the existing flagpole that's on the roof, so there's a lot of repair work that's being done. The scope presented to you today is just what requires review by LPC commissioners at a public hearing, and what requires review by the Public Design Commission.
All the other materials will remain the same as they were previously, that's what you're saying?
Correct, yes. So all of the repairs to the facade are done in wood to match the existing. All the roof is matching the existing materials. It's just the railing material that we're proposing to change to metal.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions? No? Anyone wants to make a motion?
No, we're gonna wait to,
So we'll table it for next month, is
yeah.
that?
I mean, it's up to everybody else, but I feel like we should stick to what our normal process as far as hearing them out now and then voting it on it the following week.
Everything's okay with that?
Month.
Russell, yes?
I'm in agreement.
Debbie?
I'm good.
Okay, so Amy, next month, we will, have, I guess, a decision.
So the committee will consider this for next month. Amy, can you give us the timeline again for October and November, please?
Sure. Well, I was hoping to go to LPC on October 8th. So they typically like a letter by
I
that
see.
date.
Okay, so here's what will happen. Our next EOSP committee meeting is actually October 10th. And the committee wouldn't have to, the committee may make its decision on that date in favor or against, and then that would have to be ratified by the end of October, which I don't know what the date would be right now for the full board meeting. That's our process as is right now, okay? Are you okay with that?
I would be, but I'm in like a really tight chain of reviews.
Understood. But this is the committee's decision at this time.
Right. The committees are in person and we all just made a decision, to reconsider this for the October 10th meeting. And, we will decide then, and then October 29th is our full board meeting where, we'll have a yay or nay from the full board, which are 50 members.
Okay.
Okay, Amy, so we'll send you correspondence so that you're well aware, okay? And then and of course, if you have any further questions, just email us at the office and we'll help you out, okay?
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you for
Amy.
the presentation.
Bye.
Okay, now we actually have to do some work. The goals, the goals for the 2024-2025 meeting.
So you can set up your goals between now and next month. You
Yeah.
need to have 3 goals ideally for the committee, for this meeting session. You can consider what that lady was talking about with, maybe figuring out like a district needle cleanup thing, working up with parks or whatever you guys would like to consider, but you don't have to come up with goals right now.
Right.
But at least 3 goals of the committee is definitely behind by October. That'd be helpful.
You said it's behind, I'm sorry.
That the committee is definitely.
Oh, behind, like,
Yes, like you guys are.
yeah.
Yes, like on a unified front, yes, sorry.
So just 3 goals for this
At
year
least
that
three. At least 3 goals.
Okay.
Right, you can make as many as you want, but you want things that you guys can do within a
Yeah.
year, right?
But realistic.
Yes,
Smart.
realistic, correct, absolutely.
Right, that's what we've been doing with the playgrounds and visiting of the
Yeah.
gardens, you know, like.
I
getting
mean,
out there.
that's, for me, that's one. Because I mean, I think, and then, I mean, obviously, it's up to everyone. I mean, I think that's something that we can try to do every other year. If we wanna table it, not, we can do, every other year, we're doing the parks. Because at that, essentially, that's 2 years since we've seen all the parks. Something happened in 2 years to a particular park. And that would only be our way to be updated in actually knowing what's going on in our community. But that's up to.
So what you're saying is one of the goals should be to conduct annual visits.
Semi-annual.
Semi-annual.
Semi is like half year, like
So,
biannual.
But they're like
Biannual. Every other year is, I think it's biannual.
because you do park and then you do.
You would do, if you wanna do community gardens tour like on a, like biannually, so the next
Right.
time community garden tours is 2026.
Right, but
Yeah.
my point is that to make this as one of the goals of the committee to continue to that process of visiting parks.
Parks, I'm just saying that's, well, parks, because this year,
Or
I
green
mean,
spaces.
2025.
You can say green spaces and quote them all.
Okay,
if you'd like, yeah.
so, but an internal goal is like, you'll be doing alternating, right? So the
Right.
thing is, in general, as a goal, what you say is the goal, it's an annual, so for this year, it would be to go back to parks.
Yeah, to continue
So
our
that's-
park,
2026, sorry.
25.
Right, well, these
25,
ones are big.
Yeah, 25,
25.
yeah,
Right,
To
so
continue
that's
our
an
work.
annual function of this committee,
correct.
right?
And to go in person to green
Right, to do
spaces,
sweeps.
to see what's needed,
Right.
to make it more general.
Right. And as a
Brilliant.
result of that process is to advocate to improve infrastructure and the delivery of services or something.
There you go.
In our,
Right, so that's like a second goal. Because that,
If you'd like to do that.
but I'm just saying,
That's the red down.
right, I'm just thinking out loud, like trying to figure out what you're saying in terms of building on it, because you want to keep the visits, but then use the visits as an opportunity to advocate and hold agencies accountable and stuff like that.
Another thing, that we might consider, which some of us are doing that, is joining events. There's a lot of gardens that are having events that we just happen to.
Right.
To join on the
Right.
moment, right?
and eat good.
And play, besides the eating, right, and just meeting new people and just connecting them with resources that we already know. So that's another,
That can be a
should
goal,
be-
like attending
Right,
Johnson's garden thing.
right.
or
Attending
the-
events.
Dr. We can table, Dr. McNair and provide also information so people will be able to know us more and, how to reach us and.
And tabling does really get a lot.
Yes, it
of,
does.
people, really think this is what we want, this is what we need, and the conversation just happened.
Tabling in the public, open spaces, yes.
It sounds like that would be ideal based on availability of committee members, but is that consistent with, by the time we make those visits, that the repairs or the improvements have now needed adjustments, or will there be any that happen sooner? Help me. If we go to see all the parks, we're gonna see.
Parks or the events?
Even-
So which one, so that I could?
Let's just talk about parks. We
Go ahead,
visit-
go
The garden we just visited,
okay, the gardens we just visited. Will all the improvements, all the adjustments, all the things that we would want to see happen to it, will it happen within that year's period? So by the time we saw them again, it would be like a new improvements, or did the ones we already left behind, were they ever serviced? So you
Right.
could have come to my garden and I was never serviced, so you're gonna I'll miss a whole year to come back a second year, so I'll be in greater disrepair. If we were to say that now again about the parks, if we're going to visit our parks every other year, when we make the visit, all the improvements, all the adjustments and all that kind of stuff that we are recommending, if they're not done, that will not be visited again until a second year. So that means that would be in greater disrepair. I'm just saying, even though we're making these recommendations, is based on participation, based on availability to make the observations and recommendation. Is that?
But to be fair, that's all we can do.
Yeah.
And that's the point of our statement of district needs, for us to advocate for these things. We can't personally tell parks, I mean, pick this one. I mean, we can tell them, but we can't actually do that process. So the goal is for us to get it on the statement of district needs, because then, and advocate for the different things. And then is in Park's hands to say, oh, we can do this, we can do that.
And document it.
And
You're
we
saying
can,
like, hey, we were here.
it's the same
2024,
thing.
And in 2026, the problem is still
here.
You guys have not done anything. That, so that's where you guys have.
in all fairness, we also have Cynthia. She also joined with us. She's seen the problems and the needs that they have. She's seen the needs, just as we're hearing from them, she's seen the needs that all community gardens have, including bylaws, who's the president, how do I get more people involved? And we share the document with them too, so they can also, like.
Those are for the little things, but for the big things that need funding.
Capital expense problem.
Right, those we cannot, we can only advocate for, and that would be, it's the same thing with Jessica said, they only do realistically maybe one or two a year. We'll be lucky to get two a year, as long as it took us to get the Esplanade, funded. That's been years. Richard Tucson Park, the name, obviously, I feel like that's one of the goals. We still didn't get the name, and it's only naming the park.
So we should put that as a goal too.
Okay, so the purpose of my asking these questions, so in the future, because we know how the board committees change, at least we would have, while we're making these recommendations, to put a process in place, we were also have the considerations of the things that come in between. Because those that come behind us might say, we didn't take these things in consideration.
Right, and I also, when Jessica also mentioned that she's meeting with Councilmember Diana Ayala tomorrow, she will be bringing up a lot of the playgrounds and community gardens that need support, you know what I mean? That's also being proactive, calling our elected officials and say, hey, this community garden needs ABC, needs money, needs. Yes,
So, what we need is other bodies and other voices, right? So maybe one of the things that can be a goal for consideration is to organize the opportunity to facilitate the parks, the gardens folks to meet with the elected officials and not just have people. I mean, Jessica's doing an amazing job, but as a follow-up, okay, Jessica meets with them and then you have a wave of all these other parks folks to reinforce the same message by going to the district office and visiting with them face to face. Because, I think that's something that really works. Because they don't expect you to go and do a district visit. People go up state, but they don't expect you to do in-district visits. So if we could work to coordinate that and serve the needs of those garden folks, then they're empowered to hold their elected official accountable. And if we do an annual visit, then it can kind of build up into a thing, because like everybody goes up to Albany for Art Week, right? They go for AIDS, Education Week, maybe something like for parks, there should be legislative visit days for park issues.
For both, for gardens and park,
Huh?
for gardens and park.
Yeah, of parks and, you know, but I'm just saying,
Green spaces.
Yeah.
Community space.
and the thing is, it doesn't, we're not precluded from engaging in that, because it's not like we're lobbying or something like that. We are empowering
We're
and
empowering.
educating community residents to practice advocacy and build them up. So I think that that's something for consideration.
I think it supports the interest groups for the areas that we're talking about.
Mhm.
Because if you are in the gardens, they're standing alone, we add an importance to them. We give them the recognition to get the support, to let them reach out, know where support it can be gotten.
Right.
So if we can extend it like we are saying, that could even be further, because it's their interest to
Right.
get them to move on. That should
And,
be our
and,
goal.
and, yeah, and the role that we can play is that we can give them this and say, you have not responded, you have not responded, what are you gonna do?
For
And
your-
also
for
maybe
your
train
episode.
them and do a training on how to meet with a legislator, because they're not your friends. You know, that's something that it's like how to do advocacy. Just because I see you all the time doesn't mean that you're really my friend. Sit down and say, okay, what are you doing about this policy, because that's how you get things. You empower a committee to empower the people.
And what does open space entitle us to do? Like, what the needle issue is like everywhere, not just like in the parks, but around schools and everything. So are we, or can we raise our voice to elected officials, city agencies when it comes to that? And how can we, I don't know, maybe do like a forum or something, bring us your concerns, how can we support you?
I wanted to add that when something not completely different, but when we were going from one garden to another garden, and the people from the previous garden will follow us to the next garden and the next garden. And so they were creating a community, because at one point they were just all separate little entities.
Yeah.
But as they saw, oh, well, I can get that idea, I can use that idea, and then they started becoming a larger community, and that is, so I'm piggybacking on what
Right,
you're
so
saying.
the goal
It's
is.
important, it's bringing them together.
Yeah, bring them together and then you can, you know, that's one thing. And the other thing in terms of. The needles, you know. Lot.
And especially by a ballpark.
It opens up a
Market
lot.
Garvey Ballpark, right by the sand.
Because there's parks, I mean, when I wanted to try and put. You know, put the needle dispensary, you know, on our park. Parks did not want me to do it, because they said, oh no, that will encourage use. So it's like, there's education that we have to do with that.
Right, but it's gonna be on the floor, so you're rather it to be on the floor, so
You know, there's needle exchange and there's other projects that maybe we wanna look into. I mean, I work at the Department of Health, but the AIDS Institute, and they have a whole drug user health thing, maybe they can come in and you could talk to them, but it's kind of a health issue, isn't it?
I mean, I didn't want to.
Health and safety, health and
But
safety.
you want to,
So I see that we're having so many ideas, why don't we, why don't we like start brainstorming? I'll draft like a Google Doc and we put all our ideas there and then we can just.
So to pinpoint, on that note, right now, I have 3 things that we've discussed. I mean, and y'all can help me unless we have another one. One, is to coordinate a visit to the elected officials for green spaces with the community. That's one. I mean, we can edit it or make it sound, I guess, a little better.
Or maybe like a webinar, you know what, because not for nothing, elected officials are like never in their office.
No, whatever, I'm just.
No,
we
yeah,
can,
I'm just like also thinking.
Two, tour the green spaces, continuous of touring green spaces, which means parks and community gardens. And then 3, go to more community events. and possibly, if we have more manpower, table at some of those events. So those are the ones that I've recognized right now.
Community
So
event?
Community.
that's increased, committee visibility.
Yes.
What was the first one? I'm sorry.
To coordinate a visit or a webinar where, with the elected officials
And city agents.
and city agencies about advocacy for green spaces. That's just right now.
We can even.
We can expand on it.
Can I just add one thing to yours, where it says conduct site visits to district green spaces to inform advocacy efforts? So that it shows that we're guiding that information and using it at the community level, because you can say, we're gonna go visit, but then if you say we're gonna go visit and use it to inform this committee, then it shows that,
I'm sorry,
No,
elaborate on
we
that
are
more.
going to visit.
You visit.
And maybe like do a webinar.
a webinar.
She changed it to, the reason why she said that is because, trying to get all the elected officials into one,
Okay, I'll.
we can elaborate on it
Yeah, next month. I'll
and
find
talk
something.
about it.
Taylor.
And, but we have the idea.
Yeah.
I have touring and advocating for green spaces.
Right,
And the
so-
third,
With elected officials.
No, the first one was,
coordinate with your elected officials and city agencies.
right,
The second one is touring and advocating for green spaces. And the third one I have is attending and participating in community events.
yes,
That's what
Be more.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
yeah, be more visual, but but that's,
Increase park visibility, committee visibility to, and to
Increase
create.
community board visibility, yes.
yeah,
And
that's,
table, and
that's
table
still,
items,
yeah, that's still,
But that's the same thing.
Yeah.
Parks visibility.
You can hash the, you can hash all the, you know,
Yeah.
the actual plan out when you're ready to do it. But yes, we have the basic,
the
the
basics.
basic. And then of course, you know, you come up with as much as you'd like.
You can do,
You
you
just
can do a
want-
board.
But it gotta be at least.
I'll
At
do,
least
I'll do like a Google Doc and send it to all of us, and then, you know, we can pick
Sure.
our brains from there, you know?
Alright.
Okay, so let's move on. Committee discussion on district needs and budgets requests. This is the fun part. Cool, ready, more coffee?
Alright, so you guys have to finalize, you know, this annual process, you have to finalize your.
Next
By next month.
month.
So I've already provided the link to you guys with.
Question.
Yes.
Next month, being that we have to do goals and, statement of district needs, and we have to vote on
The letter from.
the letter, how many presentations we're gonna
Expect for next month?
yes, do we have any
We have other on the pipeline, yes. So
for
that's,
next month?
yes.
How
So,
many?
we might have 3 or 4 right now. in the pipeline.
ourselves like that.
Well, you guys clear yourselves by talking a lot and, you know, I don't mean this in a mean way, but
No.
like you can have these presentations go on for 10 minutes. They don't want to stay here that long. And you keep your questions succinct and brief for the rules we have in the beginning, and we could get through these meetings fairly quickly. We could do it. But some of these things are also time sensitive. We've been waiting for updates on the Manhattan Greenway for a while, and they're coming in, right, I mean, we have an NYC heat map. Metrics and updates that we should be receiving, and the further it gets away from the hotter temperatures, the less relevant it is, right?
Compost also.
And composting, DSNY has to come in and explain on the composting and yes,
Yes.
because the rules go into effect in November. First thing, right, so we need to be at least aware of that. So for this stuff, I know it's late, but I'll just go over really quick with you guys. The data for our survey, it's provided in that link. You only really just want to focus on the sections that we are specifically responsible for, which would be. Oh, wait. There you go. Core infrastructure, city services and resiliency issues for our district. We have a lot of cleanliness and trash collection. Related concerns, followed up by environmental concerns affecting citizens, that could be anything that's really vague, so that could be like noise pollution, could be sound, could be anything, but they have extra here. Followed by.
So 10.
Right, preparedness for extreme weather events, we do have, right, last, you know, that last year we had that federal agency come to explain to us about trying to, maybe install, infrastructure barriers that would maybe help prevent, sea level rise. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Mhm.
Right, so that's important for that.
Yeah.
And air quality and pollution, so those are.
Definitely important.
Right, those are main issues, but mostly cleanliness and trash collection, so that's something you can talk about with decent line next month, right? And of course, people have specific responses as to why they chose that, a lot of rats, blah, 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 sidewalks are covered in trash, needles, et cetera, so forth like that.
We just have to go to work.
Yes, so just look through it, that's all, and then I'm gonna go through the budget requests for you guys specifically too. And then this next section, parks, cultural, community facilities. It's actually kind of dispersed, but what looks like the most are street, tree and forestry services, including street tree maintenance. We did discuss that today.
Yes.
Library facilities and access, that is actually ED, that's economic development and culture, so don't worry about library.
Okay.
But, park care and maintenance, we did have that concern, with that lady who visit us. Quality of parks and parks facilities, et cetera, so forth, so, you know.
So 10, 11, 16.
Yes, it's very, it's sparse out. But, right, so, and then everybody's responses, you take a look at it and, just see, so that's just the two sections that you should really focus on. And then I provided for you our budget requests that are specific for this committee, so you don't have to worry about looking at other committees.
Great.
So you won't get confused, okay? Don't forget that there are 3 sheets. The final request, this is what we received from the adopted fiscal year 2025 budget. This is the reasons that we gave for our requests, et cetera, so forth. For the responses that we got, they are located on this second sheet, fiscal year 2026 suggested edits. So you guys as a committee, you're gonna go through your reason, the agency response, the fiscal restraints, the availability of funds is uncertain. We have the staff suggestions that are included here, you can take it or leave it, it's up to you all.
We have staff suggestions, you said?
Right here, so you see.
Oh, okay, yeah.
These are my suggestions for the requests. So I have here revised, because we just got the IBO research findings, so you might want to revise this request and reapproach your ask. You'll just go in here and, you know, make your assumption for keep, revise, remove, or add a new request, and add your notes in there, okay? So.
Yes.
It's very straightforward, I already provided the link. You could take tonight if you want to look through these and go over that, if you want to do that. But this has to be finalized by October the next meeting, yes. You have to have finalized requests and prioritize them as well, okay?
How many requests we have?
You guys have
I know it's a lot.
a good set, yeah, you have a good amount.
I think it's 30.
For.
Let me ask you a question.
Specifically, you have.
21.
Yes, well, technically 20, because there's
20, right?
there's white space.
Okay, so my question is, when you put remove, what was the reasons?
So.
Basic.
Right, the ones I have for remove are like, it is recommended that this request be brought to your attention, to the attention of your elected officials. So it doesn't make any sense to keep asking this of O and B, because they're not, they're saying, ask your electeds. So that's the ones I have removed. I'm not saying to stop focusing on this.
Right, but where can we put that in order to do so? So my question is, can we change that request into a letter form? And put it and send letters to our elected officials?
I like that.
You can just have, you can put remove and then. You know, that's what you just said. Yes.
Send the letter.
Right.
Alright. So how many of those, we have
That say remove?
that says remove and,
Alright, so the ones that I recommend to remove.
and it says, I'm saying recommended recommend that request.
Elected officials?
Go to the
All
elected
the,
officials?
all the ones I have to remove are of that response.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I
Yes.
think we could vote on this one. I wanna make sure my colleagues agree with me on this.
Definitely agree.
Do
That's
we have to motion it, or we could just say that?
Are you trying to finalize things right now, or you just?
I wanna make sure at least we put that in the system so that,
You can do that right now if you want.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Let's
And then,
complete as much as we can do
if you'd
right
like.
now.
Yeah.
Can I make a motion?
Monday's ready to make a
No,
motion.
no.
we don't have to make a motion.
Not right now, you can just do the edits right now, and then in October, you make the motion that these are our final suggestions, and these are our priorities.
Oh,
And
no,
then,
I wasn't saying about that, I was just saying about specifically the ones the ones to remove to make a letter of recommendation.
I don't think you need to make a.
Not a letter of recommend, a letter towards the
Elected
elected official.
I don't think you need a motion to do that.
No, you
guys-
don't.
You guys can just.
Okay.
Around now, so this is what you're doing. You're
No,
gonna-
I know what you're asking about
Right.
doing.
Just to make sure that we can move on with that process.
You don't do that, you can just do it.
You can just do it and then we
Just do it.
can
You don't
have
have
a
to do a letter.
discussion on what you want to, how it's.
Right, who's gonna write that letter, Michelle? You know.
Michelle?
Letters.
It's one snack, right?
What's the text you want here? What's the text you say? Cause this is under the committee edit.
Right.
So the committee edit is
I can write it.
To remove and,
To remove and to draft a letter to request this, I don't, it's not a document, to remove a letter, to draft a letter to request,
Our request.
What are you requesting? Cause I think it's like, this is.
no, to draft a letter to
For the elected official.
change, hold on, let me think, to change our request into a letter form,
so you just wanna remove this request from here altogether and just bring it to
to
the.
draft this into a letter to send to elected officials.
The draft, our original request that has
Yeah.
been being,
Yeah.
that has been.
Alright, so you'll just advocate for that, so you want this to be the same for all of the removes
Yes,
that
yes.
are
Yes.
specifically that say presented
Right.
case for elected officials.
Can I ask you what it was written there though?
Draft this request to elected officials into an appropriate format, so a letter or
Okay.
advocacy or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so the same for this one right here. Provide funding to implement a public restroom building at the future entry point of Greenway, blah, blah, blah. It is recommended that this request be brought to the attention of the
Yeah.
officials, so remove.
We'll bring it to the elected.
So that's what you can say, what what you can say that this list represents items that have been repeatedly requested and the same response has been, given to the community board.
Almost like, almost
Request.
ignoring. it.
Like an auto reply.
Check is in the mail.
So therefore, we're making
Right.
it specific to the elected officials and with the elected.
So that's
officials.
what you use those items, you can use those items to prepare those community, the garden folks when they visit.
Or when do you support the agency
So
position?
this to remove, since they are funding the full renovation of Peter Minuet Playground, so we
Oh,
can take.
Oh, yeah, they already did
They
it.
already
So
did
we-
it.
so we can take this off.
Yeah, we could just take it off.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Mark it off.
Alright.
So say something that was completed, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, just say completed, yeah.
You know,
Everything that's completed and everything that they.
with that P and minuet, we could actually say start date completed, completion date, so we can understand how long
Anything
it
that they
took.
found.
I like that. I like what you just said, Leslie.
You said that's what it is.
We need to know when the process started, when it was completed, when was the funding originally requested for it? And now this is when it actually came through, so we can always say that they did it, it took them that long to do.
Cause I'm tired of that, check is in the mail.
But, yeah.
Can I have,
But then the check got
I don't
signed.
remember if we
And
asked,
we read that right
but I
there.
think we did. My eyes are a little tired right now, I can't. Did we ask between, the two areas of 114th Street, 117th Street that had been,
Yeah, they said that they should be
That there's
getting,
so what are you asking?
did we ask for that to be included?
Do you mean if we,
No. Previously, had we asked for that to be included with our,
your budget request?
with request?
I don't believe so. Do you mean like when they talk about the project funding, the gap, the project, the gap in
Yeah,
funding?
yeah, the gap.
We wrote a letter, remember? You,
Yes, we did a letter of
you
support.
created that, you did that motion, and then we wrote a letter to,
Support,
right.
more funding.
Yeah,
All right,
but-
but I
but either-
I'm tired, so I was wondering if we had.
Either,
said that it's
either
something
way,
needed.
they saying that it's supposed to be funded
Mhm.
within, may possibly, they have somebody to
Within
fix
2 months.
within 2 months, and it's supposed to start in January.
Right.
Are you talking about the,
Esplanade,
Esplanade?
that's what
Yeah,
she's
for the
talking
gap.
about,
Right, that's what
right?
I'm talking
From
about.
14th to 17th, they said that today.
Right, so what I'm saying is that if we have it here, because my eyes are really tired, can we also add that as completed?
Let's
Oh,
see.
if we have.
Oh, if we have it here, I don't
Oh,
think, you know, let me just take a. quick
Anything
look.
that's related to that, right?
I don't-
Maybe not,
Don't-
maybe not,
well,
that's like
I mean-
recent, that was like.
No, but we said
It's a
a few
long
times,
standing
you know, with that
project.
guy.
Yeah, we don't,
Yeah, I
Michelle,
don't
sorry,
think-
we don't have that in here.
No, I don't. think so,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
No, so yeah, just take.
So if we complete at the beginning of the year, so we would have.
Yeah, let's finish this process and then.
Okay, so for this, the next remove, provide funding to fix non-operational lighting to address issues with rat populations in each one teacher on playground. Only supports agency position, AC will accommodate this issue within existing resources. I think you should remove this light fixture complaints, that's DOT related, service requests. And pest control is Department of Health and Mental
Right.
Hygiene related. If anything, those could just be 311 requests.
Yep.
But if anything as well, we could also just forward it to your public committee, public safety transportation and human services.
Question, we can also, we are allowed to do also letters to follow up, you know, with that
But
specific
if that's a
agency.
priority for you, with
Yeah.
those lights over there.
Yeah, we were just talking about the
Come
lighting.
on, you need this priority for each one teaching involved.
Okay, so you wanna,
We're gonna keep.
Right. and-
Yeah,
You said follow up with all lines.
But what I will do is, I will make the calls for it.
okay, so we'll keep that, no problem. And the rest are keeps and revise.
So we'll just.
But
review
with that
it.
one, that one was for a specific part, right?
The one that we just talked about is for each one teach one playground. The request is to provide funding to fix non-operational lighting and to address issues with rat populations.
But it's really not funding, it's really just telling them to fix the lights, to put the light bulbs
So
up
that's a
there.
DOT, that's like going into 311 and filling out a service.
But
request.
Parks actually reaches out to them to actually do
Right.
so.
Yeah.
Cause that's who the ones who I normally
Right.
would
exactly.
call
Right.
to fix those.
Right.
That's
And so
what
I
Robin
wouldn't-
just said.
I wouldn't keep this because they
Yeah.
keep saying the agency will accommodate this issue within existing resources, meaning they already have their budget allocated to address lights being non-operational and rats.
So it's something that you're.
Right,
Yeah.
and if you keep this in here next year, or for this selection, or this submission.
You saying that they're gonna say the same
They're
thing?
gonna say the same thing,
Okay.
they're gonna say the same thing.
But we can just follow up with an email or something.
You know what, I still wanna keep it just because it is something that, even if it's said in DOT,
Mhm.
I mean, in public safety and transportation, it being here, it just emphasizes it, I think.
But
Okay.
this request work
Yeah,
a lot.
how do you get it to work? So it's a double whammy. We know when the lights don't work, the ones that are not working now, the other one's gonna blow out,
Right.
and then you'll be in darkness, and then it will really come out.
I think
that-
that the public safety
really good.
transportation should add it to their.
Can't be where it's like.
Well, that's up for that's for them to actually do so.
Sheriff.
Yeah,
Oh.
we can,
Look at
we
the
can
sheriff right
just,
there.
I'm
Yeah, we
literally
can
writing
just-
it down.
Okay, thank you.
we can just pass the word to, public safety and transportation.
She's there, she says she's doing it too, but I
Oh,
understand.
That's the
You
chair
that's
right
what
there.
he just said.
Write it down.
But I still understand the more places that there are, the more that they have to see it.
That's.
So that was what she was saying. She's saying it, like, we don't have to have it high on the list.
Yeah, it could
We
be,
could,
but
we
anywhere.
could, we could put it low on the list, but just keep it.
What number is that one?
When they come back with the same thing?
If you have the same language here, they'll probably tell you the same thing.
That's
So it's up to you. I give you my recommendation.
No, I get it.
As you see it.
That's
So
what
then
it,
change
that's
the
all it is.
language.
It's-
You can do that.
Change the language.
You can revise it for sure. You can revise the language. Some things are a little bit like.
Some things are necessities because they're human use.
No problem.
We're using the park.
I just want us to be on the same page
But we're
and,
not.
no, clearly, I know that, but what I'm referring to. As far as what could we actually get done and move, I'm talking about this work right here. What could we get done right now with the time that we have? If we have to debate about some of the things, then I feel like we should table it for next week. And to figure out what we, next month. But whatever we could get done right now.
If you like, you could.
Right, but that's what you were doing with someone, you were
Yeah,
someone.
we're doing-
I know, but we got into a little bit,
Right, that's why you gotta keep it focused.
that's what I'm trying to do now, to get
That's
us
fine,
focused.
that's fine, let's just keep going to the next one.
Okay, so those are all the removes. I don't know if you still, that was just
Alright.
spotty. You have your district garage request.
Uh-huh.
Due to fiscal restraints, the availability of funds is uncertain. You might want to revise this, especially with the IBO research findings that we were just presented. You might want to re-revise that request and target it in a different way somehow, right? How they were telling you it's based off of, like, what was it?
That it was
Like,
not safe to come under certain conditions.
No, it's like
within the
specific,
club.
specific, like promise funding versus like, do you remember? It was like a pledge, policy pledge decision or like.
Pledge versus capital versus, and there was another.
Right, and how this whole discussion, like you guys were under an impression that this would be,
It was under
committed
pledge.
capital funds, but it's
It was
not.
just a pledge.
It was just, right, it was
Something that's
just,
going,
like,
it was just words.
you correct,
Just
exactly.
You talking about what they said
Yeah.
in June?
When you,
Yeah,
well, yes, that.
Yeah.
I'd be able to specify that first, because apparently the community board was under the impression, but what IBO was saying is that, well, there was this. Clause here that said that this isn't actually
It's not what we thought it was.
Right, exactly.
Policy was the.
Yeah, but the only reason why they stopped,
To money and action.
the only reason why they stopped is because of our concerns. I feel like it was a part of it.
No, that's a small part that they understand. If we don't understand it, that they can say what they can and will not do, or what they didn't say. So we gotta be careful
Right.
what we're asking for.
Just reading the fine print, that's essentially, it. That's all what I'm saying, so they're getting away with the ability of funds is uncertain because it wasn't it was just a policy pledge, it wasn't an actual commitment. And that's how, you're willing to say, they're correct, exactly.
That's how they roll.
Okay,
But we know now. So-
and then what are you saying with number 5?
This one right here, so revise. Please contact the agency directly and promptly for more information. This is to conduct a feasibility study and provide the necessary funding to create a green infrastructure corridor along East 106th Street. As conceptualized in the vision plan for resilient Harlem. So they're saying, please contact the agency, which is DEP. So I just suggest to direct this feasibility study request to them directly with a specific scope and parameters and goals, specify rainwater catch basin programs or incentives that they actually do have. That's something that the property owner has to opt into because it impacts their property. And separate the DOT centric responsibilities and refer that to, Michelle's committee. So say for example, right here, study street regrading and median islands with DOT, that should technically be here for us, that should be with, public safety. This is number 5, evaluate the public location, and do a feasibility study for green infrastructure corridor along East 106th Street.
Okay.
So Toby is saying to direct, the initial inquiry directly to DEP. And then there's also DOT related, things in there. Such as the street regrading and median islands. That should be separated, but.
Michelle, know what I'm saying? He was.
She knows, she heard me, like they're DOT related stuff.
I'm underlining it.
Right, so that's something that you guys might wanna consider revising or, directing it straight to DEP, like drafting this request to DEP in an appropriate format. Consider doing that. So I'll leave this under revised for now, I can make this, one to two later, okay?
Yeah, and then what's
Alright, this one,
you completely got it,
I did not do this.
oh,
Okay, so for this one here, the Department of Parks and Recreation does not maintain this facility, so we should revise this. There's confusion about who owns this plot. For East River Playground, they say that Parks doesn't maintain that facility, but we should check.
they saying
because-
NYCHA.
Well, cause the New York City zoning, ZOLA, which is the zoning and land use portal. Shows Department of Parks as the owner, so it's
Right.
conflicting information, so we need to. Take care of that, but also it's a playground, so it technically all goes under the Youth and Education Committee.
Right.
Because there's a playground
Because it's a
in
play-
East River Park?
Yeah, don't tell, cause it says Department of Parks does not.
Second Street and First Street?
Okay. So basically, why, so two things. One, it's supposed to be with parks. Two,
So here.
we need to know,
You need to know who is the actual owner, because if you go
Owner.
on, if you of the plot, if you go on zoning, it says that Parks is the owner.
right,
Their response is saying that Parks does not maintain that facility, so we need to find out who's owns it. And then,
so basically it's not really revised, it's more so, let's find out who is the owner. Am I correct? We just need to know who the owner is, and once we identify the owner, then we can know if it's for,
Who we need to go to, right?
not, it wouldn't even be us anyway, it would go to youth and education.
Right.
Regardless, but we still need to know.
there's my responsible party for that plot of land, so that's something that we gotta, we'll.
Right, and probably transfer it to youth and education. Again.
Okay. Next one, funding should be allocated to provide a full renovation of the remaining half of the PS 155 playground.
You put keep, so
Yes.
let's scroll down.
She said I could come and look for water.
Yeah, we have the water fountains. Just
Yeah.
Get a cup and then we have.
There's a cup right there with the water fountain.
Next one, funding should be allocated to provide a full renovation of Bay Grant playgrounds. It is recommended that this request be brought to the attention of your elected officials, so, yeah, the same one should do this, focus efforts on. This one, and this is for your same draft this request to elected officials into an appropriate format, and bring that up with them. Funding should be allocated to provide a full renovation of Lake House playground. Same thing.
Yeah,
That's essentially
the next two is the same thing.
Okay, alright. So remove, also, you guys can decide, each one, we can keep that.
Yeah.
Funding should be allocated to provide a full renovation of Alice Carnegie Triangle.
Mhm.
It's recommended that brought to the attention, you get a lot of those, see?
Yeah, but I still, this is I mean, we can talk about this, I feel like we can further go.
You can still advocate for these items.
We can advocate for these items, but I still wanna do that separate. We can have them below, so at least we know it's like,
We'll create a separate document,
Right.
just because, what this document should be is your new or revised budget request. We don't wanna keep these in here. I can create a whole new document. with
Okay.
These items and then try to help, create like a game plan or something like that.
right,
I think you should.
I think that'd be one of our goals.
Know we're doing work.
Say that again?
That could be one of our goals as
So
well.
people know that we're doing work. Not just
For the ones that
Just a side.
they specifically telling us to go to our elected officials.
I mean, they're not doing work.
That could be one of our goals to get these, follow up and get these done
Right.
for this year.
And you
And create the letters and stuff like that.
And you can use.
We almost there.
No, we almost done. We almost done. We almost done.
Five more, we almost done.
5 more.
Funding should be provided to allow for necessary field maintenance, patching and resurfacing of the turf areas at Eugene and Cape Field. Same thing, recommended that this request be brought to the attention of elected officials. This is also the issue with parks not being funded at 1%. Do you remember? that
Yes,
issue?
I totally remember.
Right, so this is the same, a lot of your parks requests for upgrades and renovations, it's getting this because parks has a limited budget. So that's something for you guys to get an idea on.
Y'all weren't around yet, but when Bill Perkins became councilman, he wanted 2%. That was his platform. Remember that?
He wanted
He
2%.
wanted 2% of the
Oh,
budget to go to
Budget
parks.
go to parks, right? That's crazy.
And now we're fighting for 1%. That's hard.
Okay, so funding should be provided to allow for the provision of additional seating in public restroom.
You put keep.
Yes.
We keep it.
Okay.
You said revise it or?
No, this is your section here for.
Oh, you're just asking us. I
Yes,
got you.
so this,
Your recommendation is to keep
Yes.
ours.
these are my recommendations here. This is just autofill for right now. We'll go along as we get in, so.
Got you.
That's autofill. So we'll keep the ones that I said.
Keep. We just need to reformat it.
All right, so this one is, funding should be allocated to provide the necessary improvements to the existing public restroom at Port Richards Playground to make it ADA accessible, and they want you to bring this attention to your elected officials again.
Because it requires money.
It requires.
Imagine that.
Yes.
So within our letters, should we also incorporate the grants that are around?
To what? Sorry.
Should we incorporate grants that are around?
Grants that are around,
Grants? Sorry.
GRANTS.
Oh, grants. Yes, of course. That's the whole, yeah, you would wanna.
So we would just like add that, say, look, I understand this, but look at all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yes,
that is available. How come this cannot be done?
To our elected officials, right?
Who are elected
Okay.
officials within the letter that are being written?
No, that makes
they'll
sense.
probably tell you to do it. Say, why don't you do it?
Exactly what they're gonna say. It's gonna be like, oh, thank you, but should you do it? But that's what you.
But why would we do
I
that?
wouldn't ask how it could be done. We're requesting those funds from those funding pools.
And we want them to advocate
For
for
them,
those funds to be brought in.
Or even allocate money from their.
from the.
From their personal.
These are available dollars. We're requesting money from these.
So
Discretionary.
we could table that. Let's finish, because let's finish what we,
Two more.
yeah.
Okay, so funding should be allocated to provide an equitable amount of on-street rat-resistant trash cans on every corner, major streets. Due to fiscal constraints, the ability to fund this concern. I still say you should keep this. I mean, like we do get a lot of constituent complaints about
Right.
rat stuff and the lack of trash cans. But there are also grants that are available that help, like my previous community board in Brooklyn, we did that. We got some extra funds, like $10,000, I can't remember where. And we bought a number of trash cans that placed it throughout the district. So that's something that community boards can do, so I wouldn't necessarily say get rid of this, but I mean, if you wanna make a reapproach, it's up to you.
No, it looks good, sounds
Make
good.
it happen.
Yeah.
Apply for grants or something.
So that's a whole separate piece, and you gotta talk to Angel about that, because community boards, you'd have to set up a friends of, or like a separate organization. You can't be like a community board specifically, and you have to create your bylaw, you have to do a whole thing, but it's other community boards.
But it's
yes.
doable.
And other community, yes, correct, and other community boards have done it,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
simply just asks like, hey, can we get your stuff so we can copy it? And then, but you're just gonna have to convince them.
Right.
Okay.
I just to add to that, back when I was on the committee board, that was explored. I think it was in the 90s, like early 2000s, that was explored. But it became very difficult because people really they didn't know exactly what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Because they thought it was basically oh, we could do this, is that it was a whole separate entity, and that separation, there was power, there was just power.
That's a double-edged sword of having a friends of, yes,
Yeah,
so
and that,
it really depends on the members being.
yeah, it really
honest.
does, it really does, but it was done and explored, but it failed.
Mm. See, that's where it can be.
Oh, let me finish
We'll
that,
get right.
Hold on,
We'll-
hold on.
I think you did.
You know,
One more.
tell you the
No,
story.
no, thank you, yeah, thank you, David. Let's go to the last one. Let's
Last
go.
one and we're out of here.
Yes.
Okay, funding should be allocated to plant new street trees, and staff should be provided to maintain existing street trees in CB11. Agency will try to accommodate this issue within existing resources. I suggest revising this, especially since we have all of those ongoing campaigns, million more trees. And that we have this, the metrics that they gave us for the Vital Parks Explorer, that Trisha Shimamura brought up.
Right, and.
Right, exactly. Right, exactly. And then with the NYC heat map, they showed that this district is one of the hottest in New York City, so I want to revise this request to try to make it more robust or something, but take a look.
And this is, we really have to think about this, plus the coming next month, to help also.
So if anything, as a committee, you guys are going to really.
Can I make a suggestion?
5, 6.
With this document, if you have time, take out the ones that we specifically are gonna write to the elected officials. And then we can, on our own time, up until,
yes,
our next month meeting, at least we all know what this is. Rosa, you can send out the email to make sure that everybody knows if they come into the next meeting.
Right, I was gonna say also, we're able to also have an informal conversation among ourselves.
Let's talk as long as you do not come up, like, you don't vote on anything.
No, we're not gonna vote, we're just gonna talk about it.
You guys can create
On
a
the
whole
October
text chat.
10th meeting.
You can have a whole group chat if you want and just talk like, hey, guys, I'm in a document and I just added those things.
Oh, like, me, Microsoft Teams or something like that?
I'm sorry?
Microsoft Teams?
Yeah, if you wanna meet together, as long, like I said, as long as you're not,
We're not doing
you're
any
not voting
voting,
on
we're
items.
just informal discussion
Right, yeah,
among us, environmental open space.
that's all.
Okay?
You just
Well,
want
set up.
The same thing like we did with the,
Planning.
did the planning, we can plan, we can discuss, we can.
Oh, right, with the Earth Day.
Yeah.
We had-
Yeah, we
met
Yeah.
exactly.
we talked about Earth Day, stuff like that, as long as we don't.
Right, your parks tours,
Yeah.
they're not,
Yes.
they're public, but then you.
I do want to have that added on to our goal for this year, the Earth Day celebration, the 4th or whatever annual one it is.
So the annual, so.
Okay, we have to figure out how that's gonna work too. Is Jessica gonna be available for that?
The committee should be
Well,
able to
You
step up.
should, yeah, you should step up and do it.
I don't know.
Jessica's not here.
I'm just.
What confidence in the committee members? Oh,
Okay, let it go, put it down.
All right, that's real.
Jessica's not going that
Are we,
far.
are you all satisfied for what we've done?
Yes.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Russell, are you okay with all the changes that we've made tonight?
Satisfied with the effort. Yeah.
Awesome, okay, so let's keep it moving.
All right, so that is the last agenda item
Yeah.
that we have, but we do have somebody, this Michael Davis character, he did raise his hand earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know, Michael, sorry for having you wait for a while, did you want to speak by any chance and make yourself known?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you for your time. I apologize for interrupting your schedule. I'm a member of Rodale Community Garden. You had a tour last week of the community garden. You stopped by. I had to sweep the sidewalks on 114th and then 115th Streets because there was a lot of leaves, a lot of dog poo, a lot of garbage, and I wanted it to look nice. But then I thought maybe I should have just let it stay so you see what it looks like in reality. Our sidewalk is always the worst of the sidewalks of our blocks. I do the best to sweep and make it look presentable, but it would really help if we could borrow a leaf blower and make it look like the other neighbors in the block. And I'm wondering if you had any resources or guide me to any agencies that would provide a leaf blower, a cordless leaf blower for the rest of this season. We have 2 more months, and it's not enough time to apply for a grant to buy a leaf blower. So what could you do? Could you help me with this?
So Michael, Department of Sanitation, we know, and maybe Parks, we know that they use, like, if you sign up for a form, they might be able to provide certain types of equipment, but I can't confirm on like leaf blowers or like heavy duty type maintenance tools like that. But what we can do is that, right, so what, if you can give me your email, or if you want to email our office and, you know, actually just give me your email right now, if you're okay with doing that. And
I can do that.
Okay.
In fact, I've been in touch. In fact, I've been in touch with Cynthia Guerra. I think it was her. Yeah, and also don't you have a community manager? Let's see. What's it? Munez.
Michael, just in case, I want to acknowledge your email. We did receive your email.
Oh.
Yeah, I have your email. I'll send it also to Khalid. So we can see how we can better support you.
That would be great. I appreciate it. If not, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. That's fine. You know.
We'll find a way.
We'll figure it out, Michael. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Yes.
So today we got 5 things, right? Goals.
I have 4 goals right now, but
She added Earth Day.
You know what
Earth Day.
no, but the Earth Day doesn't have to be a goal, it could just be a.
Yeah,
function.
that's just a yearly event.
But
Yeah,
it,
it
but
doesn't have to be a goal.
but it is something that we want to, we try to do.
It's not a goal because it's being done every
It's a
single
function.
year. It's a function, an event, bringing,
You don't think it's a function?
you know,
I think
more involved.
it's goals.
Okay, anyway,
Old
anything else?
Wait.
No old business, okay, new business? None. Roll call.
No business into the roll call.
They're gonna do the roll call actually.
okay, everybody. Jocelyn Cruz, absent. Rosa Diaz,
Present.
Stanley Johnson, absent. Connie Lee, excused. Malik McCullough.
Here.
Thank you. Samantha Pergera is absent. Debbie Quinones.
I'm here.
Russell Schuler.
Here.
Michelle Wilshire Clement.
Here.
Yeah, so she's not here anymore.
Oh.
Jewel Jones, she's not in this committee anymore.
Okay, with that, meeting is concluded at 9:17.
So you're calling for a motion for adjournment?
A motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
So.
Motion to adjourn, I dare anyone to.
Let me motion, Michelle second.
I dare anyone.
The whisper for the senior citizen program.
For the senior citizen program.
We're going to stop.
Okay, yes, let me end this.
Thank
meeting.
you,
Good night,
Michael,
everybody. Good
and
night.
I will connect with you.
I will hold them.